as far as implications for who could potentially get the number one spot, obviously Tragic is in that mix as well, and Gravity would really like to be able to make their way up, but if we take a look at the schedule, you'll see we actually have Tragic versus Exiled happening in our very first game of the night. So that in and of itself is going to have a lot of implications behind it. If Exile is able to get a 2-0, that really shakes things up because that eliminates the opportunity of Tragic moving up above Tribe and Nova Imperium, and also would put them within 10 points of Tribe Gaming. So it's definitely going to be a crazy night for Division 2. We do have Fearless versus Gravity in game number 2. NL Esports, formerly Infinex versus Violence. That's going to be another important matchup over in Division 1, as those are two teams that are very close to each other, and things really could go either way. Fearless is one of those teams that we saw have a breakout performance on Tuesday, and if they're able to get a 2-0 versus Gravity, could be big for them as well. And then following that, we'll have Gene versus Fierce. Obviously, Fierce way, way, way at the top of Division number 1 right now. So with Gene struggling as much as they have, more than likely, probably not going to have a whole lot of trouble for Fierce, but these underdog teams have definitely created a lot of entertainment for us so far, and hopefully Gene can manage to do that. And then, as I said pretty early on, we are going to have Tribe Gaming versus Nova Imperium. Two of the best teams in Mobile Mayhem, and two teams that have a little bit of a rivalry as well. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. But we are getting our teams loaded in. Day, which matchup are you most excited for tonight?
Definitely need to watch out for the Nova Imperium game. Division 2 is super jam-packed with three teams all within 10 points of the top three, and obviously those top three are going to be the fighting factors for moving on into the playoffs. Gravity, they are sitting down at 70 points, which is sitting below Tribe's 100 right now, but absolutely are still in a position where if they play well and Tribe plays bad, there's a possibility they could move their way up into third place. So we will have to see how some of these games moving forward go, as well as I definitely am going to be excited for the Tragic versus Exiled matchup. Exiled is a team that has really done exceptionally well for kind of a newcomer team from when we've seen them up till now, with definitely some consistency issues, I guess is the easiest way to put it. Some days they show up and they look like a top 3 team. Other days they show up and feel like they're not all there. So Tragic, a team who obviously was formerly Turbulence, has come through and had just an incredibly strong performance, fighting for first place in Division 2. They're obviously a very strong team. And then also our third matchup, which will be NL versus Violence. And that is an incredibly close matchup, just based on how Division 1 has been looking. NL, formerly Infinex, obviously have been struggling for quite some time throughout this season, and Violence have really been creeping up not too far behind.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy. We do also have the awards as far as nominations go for this season of Mobile Mayhem. So one of the things that we've done every season, we have 3 different categories. We've got Rookie of the Split, we got Marksman of the Split, and we've got MVP of the Split. So right now, the nominees for each category will start with Marksman of the Split, aka Sniper of the Split. We've got Cheto from Nativos Latinos, previously Infinex, Swag from Nova Imperium, Sneaky from Fierce, I believe, Moralto from Exet, Velo from Violence, and Tectonic from Tribe. Previously, that would have been Little B in the sniper spot for Tribe, but Tech recently making his way into that sniper role could potentially take the award. And then as far as Rookie of the Split, right now we've got Resume from Strike Zone, Lethal from Fearless, Riots from Fearless, and Codeine from Gene Gaming. And then for the final one, we've got MVP of the Split. We've got one player for every single team. So for Tribe, we've got Tectonic, Forsaken for Fierce, Swag for Nova Imperium, Impulsive for Exit, Space for Tragic, Riots for Fearless, Resume for Strike Zone, Codeine for Gene Gaming, Tatio for Nativos Latinos, Forbid for Violence, Ivan for Gravity, and Neji for Exiled. So lots of fantastic players on that list. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to shape up. If I'm going to give my personal prediction for all of them, if I was to say, if it was right now that we were going to be handing out the awards, Marksman of the Split is a tough one just because I feel like there hasn't been one specific breakout player. I would be likely to give it to either Swag or Sneaky just because of how dominant Fierce has been. I would probably be a little more inclined to give it to Sneaky. And then Rookie of the Split, I mean, you'd have a tough time not saying Resume, as he's been carrying his team the majority of the games that they played so far. And then for MVP of the Split, I know Forsaken is Day's go-to as far as MVP of the Split, but
oh, my dude's been popping off all season long.
He has been popping off. I think I would have to agree that Forsaken, absolutely a great option, but
he went from upper middle of the pack season 3 to top dog season 4, hands down.
I just have a really tough time not giving it to Tectonic, knowing that he's a phone player, being as dominant as he is going up against a lot of these tablet players. So I would be inclined to give it to Tectonic, but we also have to wait and see how the rest of the season plays out. Speaking of which, we are good to go for game number 1. We do have Tragic versus Exiled hopping into the action. Let's see what they got.
Yeah, this is going to be definitely a good matchup. Obviously, these points are incredibly good for Tragic to pick up here. Our final matchup of the night is going to be Nova Imperium versus Tribe. So, obviously, one of those teams will be picking up points. So, it's definitely important that Tragic are able to pick up some points here. The big question here for me is, I give Tragic the edge, but is Exiled going to bring enough of their A game here today to at least take a game off of Tragic and deny some points, or potentially even take the win? Because that would really be kind of a almost like a dramatic finish to the Division B standings.
Yeah, and off the start, we've got Exiled looking really good. Bear and Neji already with 8 kills between the two, and looks like some struggles for Tragic right now as 2 players still yet to pick up a kill, which is not something we typically see out of them. Just a lot of fragging power on that team, and we do see players already out making the rotations for Exiled as well. It looks like they are going to be able to take control of the hardpoint off the start. End's going to be able to survive right there. That will give them 2 players on the hill, a couple thermites on the way out as well. We do have Tragic looking to make the push in, but End set up perfectly. The Molotovs are on the way in, and we have absolute chaos ensuing right now. Bear already with 6 kills on the board, looking phenomenal off the start, but we do actually have some time going in for Tragic right there as they're able to get the break.
Yeah, absolutely. Been a pretty close matchup so far, but Tragic, as you mentioned, just pick up the break here on the second hard point. About 30 seconds left ahead of them. Again, they would be the favorited team moving into this matchup just based on how the season performance has been for them. They came through as a mini all-star team and really showed a lot of the previous teams that some of these players have been on that maybe they shouldn't have been subs. So definitely big performances coming out of them as they cross the 60-point mark here. Silo was looking for a kill on Soso, unable to find it, actually gets dropped even off of the head glitch. So big play from Soso there. He will finally get dropped by End, but we're now up at 67 points for the side of Tragic. A couple points going on over to the side of Exiled here, but Tragic, they're grouping up, getting ready to make that rotation. They have a big opportunity here as they pick up Silo.
Yeah, Neji all by himself on the hard point, trying to hold down that top side window. He's going to get a little bit of help from his teammates, and pretty solidly in control of Exiled, despite a pretty big kill advantage going to Exiled. We do actually continue to have Tragic in the lead right now. Jez is going to pick up a big frag right there. It's going to allow him to push in, but Neji shuts it down quickly. He has been on fire so far. The only player to move into double digits, and another player pushing in gets shut down quickly Soso will drop to Neji, and he can do no wrong right now. 13 kills on the board for him. Only 75 points away from his cluster strike. We will have a break going in for Tragic, but a little bit late of a push for them. Space is going to get knocked off his Annihilator. Things opening up once again for Exiled, as they do have control of the next hardpoint, and only behind by about 6 points right now.
Yeah, Neji's popping off pretty hard for the side of Exiled, really helping him stay in here as he's made some really strong rotations that he's been able to pick up some kills and allow his team to really make the rotations over early. Chaos comes through with a big triple with the War Machine there, though. That is going to fend Exiled back quite a bit, and this should be quite a large amount of time going over to the side of Tragic. Space and Soso picking up a couple kills of their own. Space is using the chopper, not something we see him use a ton, but so far seems to be working out for him. Bear on the side of Exiled, finally crossing into double digits with his teammate Neji. A couple other players on the team getting close, but overall, pretty close game, very back and forth. Couple players popping off, couple players trailing behind. Space finds kill number 17 there, and we've got about a 30-point lead developed right now for the side of Tragic.
Yeah, and I feel like a couple missed opportunities we saw there from Exiled, especially when they were trying to guard P4 right there. We had one player on the upstairs of the hard point. He had a cluster strike in play. His teammate was trying to hold out people on Box's side. Could have very easily taken out the entire team and allowed Exiled to actually get full time on that hard point, but because he didn't call it in, they ended up losing out on a lot right there. And as you can see, the time now continuing to tick upward for Exiled, as A-Flow's not having a great game, but pulls out his Annihilator and gets a big feed right here, as Exiled is just getting absolutely shut down by him right now, getting one-man spawn trapped at gas station, and that's going to allow this Tragic team to get a ton more time on the hill, and it looks like heading out of this hardpoint, they will be very, very close to that 150 mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Space absolutely killing it here for the side of Tragic. They don't have enough time left on the clock to finish on this hard point, but they are certainly within even just a couple trickle points on the next couple objectives of picking up a win. Space actually almost drops himself to a thermite there, will eventually get dropped by the cluster strike. This is a big opportunity for Exile to make their rotations. They cannot quite win on this point, but they can definitely tie things up if they're able to hold for the entire time. Space has respawned, does have that chopper, but Neji is inside in a Goliath. This is very likely going to be the whole hard point going on over to the side of Exiled, and that's going to put both of these teams within 10 points of finishing the round.
He's got a War Machine. Oh. The War Machine does get taken out, but oh no, we actually get a break going in. Space is on the inside of the hardpoint. That's going to shut it down quickly. The War Machine did end up getting countered right there. I believe it was Chaos pulling it out to take out the Goliath on the inside of the hardpoint, so he died in the process, but his teammate Space able to push in with, I believe, his second Annihilator. They were able to get the break right there and ended up getting the win. As you can see, he had a phenomenal game for them. 21 kills, only 12 deaths. Fantastic performance, and unfortunately for Exiled, they had a pretty strong start, but they weren't really able to maintain that all the way through. And you can see the kill disparity did start to build up, and by the end, it was just too little, too late as they tried to make the break, but weren't quite able to make it happen.
Yeah, and that was a really big play by Chaos, even though he traded his life out for the War Machine. That Goliath being inside is such an incredibly difficult thing to deal with. I believe he got the 1-2-3 shot to take it down. Again, traded his life. But as you mentioned, Space was able to make the rotation over and get those final couple points that they needed. They were sitting at 142, so even just the couple of second window that Chaos was able to buy for Space was enough to help close out that game. So Exiled looked strong, though, in that matchup, so I'm definitely excited to see them moving into the next match. Search and Destroy is kind of definitely one of those areas where we see maybe the lower seed team is the best way to put it. Because again, I don't think Exiled is a team that doesn't have skilled players to compete. They definitely just have some consistency problems, and I think that does lean them a little bit of an edge maybe in search and destroy if they're able to get some picks. Now, they don't perhaps have such a strong sniper line as Tragic potentially does, but they definitely have big opportunity.
Yep. We've got all of our players pretty close to readied up. We are going to be hopping into search and destroy on firing range. I feel like End has been one of the breakout players for Exiled this season, and especially in search and destroy. His contributions, especially as the sniper, have been really big. So we'll see how he matches up against, I think, typically space snipes, sometimes space, sometimes A-flows. A little back and forth for this Tragic team, but it's going to once again be a great matchup. I feel like even though the score wasn't all that close in game number 1, I felt like Exile did play it pretty close, and it was really a couple crucial mistakes that ended up not allowing them to get the win in that first matchup. But I think, like you said, the lower seeded team just seems to, for some reason, tend to have the advantage when it comes to search and destroy, which is what we're hopping into right now.
I don't know if I want to say it's an advantage much of
easier to sneak away with it. Yeah.
Just a bigger fighting chance if you're able to make the rotation strong.
Yep. But we are good to go for game number 2. Just a reminder, we do have each team allowed to ban one gun. So Tragic actually banning the FHJ. Definitely didn't expect to see that. And then Exiled banning the HVK. Did expect to see that, as the HVK currently the most broken weapon in the game outside of the Akimbo Phoenix, which is banned overall. So not too surprising to see right there. Jez trying to land a first blood, but taking some shots right here. Going to be forced to retreat, and looks like he's trying to spot somebody through those boxes, but it will be Exiled making that rotation back over toward the A site. End is going to find that first blood. Not too surprising to see right there. He's been so good at finding those as of late. Space. Probably, if I had to guess, yep, the Arctic 50 ACOG coming out right there. Not going to be able to land shots on the Bear. It will be a one-man advantage. The plant is going to go in over on the A site. And, oh my gosh, I never realized how beautiful the gold is on the KN-44. I might have to pull that out sometime. It will be a one-man advantage for Exiled as the bomb is down. Only 30 seconds to play with for this team, and Neji's going to find the frag onto Soso. Jez left all by himself. He does have a sniper in hand, so anything's possible. Finds the frag onto N. Here's the player behind, not going to be able to land shots onto Neji, and Bear shuts it down pretty quickly. 3 kills for him in round number 1, and Exile does take the lead off the start 1-0.
Yeah, and Exile definitely need that here, so we'll have to keep an eye on and see if they're able to keep pushing it through. Bear had a really big round, was able to get the kill on space, picked up that ACOG Arctic 50 that we see quite often from space, and was able to find the closeout kill with it as well. So definitely a sniper rifle that I think a lot of players need to really be kind of prepared for when you're going up against this Tragic team, because again, space quite often is the top fragger for the team with that. Whoa, Soso! What a monster! Finds a 3-piece for the team.
I did not see what happened. I did see Silo finding a crucial pick right there, but he's going to get taken out by Chaos. It's going to be End left all by himself. He's getting wall-banged right now. 43 HP to work with, and the walls are closing in. One player on top of wood. He's going to actually run and pick up bomb right here. Not going to be able to land the shot onto A-flows, and he'll get shut down pretty quickly as Tragic comes storming back in a big way to tie things up at 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is a matchup that we would normally give the edge to Tragic, so it's not a surprise to see them come through with a really strong round. I mean, Soso with the triple kill there obviously really started things off strong for them. But, you know, again, every one of these rounds is a fresh start for both of these teams, so Exiled can definitely bounce back, or Tragic can really run away with it. But we do have Soso once again just in beautiful position, only finds a 1 and finds the major assist on the other. It's now a 3 versus 2 with player advantage going over to the side of Tragic. Now, make that a 3 versus 1 as Neji is now the last member alive for his team, and is going to get dropped very quickly by Chaos there. That's Tragic taking the 2-1 round lead.
Yeah, truly tragic for Exiled right there, as the lead does disappear pretty quickly. Obviously, we still got a long ways to go in this one, and both of these teams got a lot on the line. We'll see if Exile's able to adapt right there. A pretty aggressive push through mid with no smokes in play yet. A little surprising to see that. A-Flow's going to take some shots from Bear. He finds a player on the flank, shuts down Soso, but Neji and N going to be the only players remaining, and just like that, it is Neji all by himself, taking shots on space. Just can't seem to make anything land, and he's going to RPG himself. Better for him to suicide than somebody else get the frag onto him, and things seeming like they may be starting to fall apart a little bit for Exiled, as they've not really been able to find any rhythm following that first round. They're going to need to turn things around in a big way if they're going to be able to push this to a Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, they have the skill to do so, and as you mentioned, has really been a breakout player for this Exiled roster. Neji, obviously a player that we can typically count on for Exiled to be one of the top fraggers. However, so far this game, it has been Bear with 4 kills. But A-Flows finds a big double kill for the team, and End is once again left alone here, and that's going to be Chaos picking up the kill. 4 rounds in a row going over to Tragic. And we do get the side switch here, but things certainly not looking great for this Exiled lineup.
Defend the objectives. The enemy has the bomb.
All right, we sorry, I was called in for a makeup review real quick. Hopping back into the action. We do have Chaos already 8 kills for the first 5 rounds right there, and he's going to actually not be able to land shots on the silo right there. I don't think he landed a single shot, and that's going to open things up a little bit, but Space pulling out that Arctic 50 ACOG once again finds the frag to even things up. 4 players apiece. So getting a trade onto Neji. 1 player down below. Space won't be able to connect, and the movement a little bit too clean. Exiled. Bear able to stay alive for the time being. I believe takes an RPG shot. Jez shuts down another player. And it is now a 2v4 with not a whole lot to work with as Bear gets spotted right there. Shine's actually going to find
a big double kill there, though.
Yeah, the trip mine seeming to be perfectly placed, and Bear's actually going to be able to get the wall bang onto Space. What was a 4v2 is now a 2v1, and Bear and Shine looking like they may possibly be able to clutch out right here. Soso on the inside, not able to land the shots. Bear with the perfect prediction, but he gets turned on! What a snipe, but Shine!
And I get the hit marker! Oh, no!
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he got a hit marker on Shine as he popped up in the window, and Shine was able to gun him down. So
Dang.
That will be Exiled staying alive just on, like, I think 5 health for Shine there. So definitely a close one.
Yeah.
Still think you're pretty confident if you are a Tragic fan right now, though. They have been playing exceptionally well, specifically looking at Chaos and Soso. Bear does find a kill onto A-Flows to open things up for Exiled, though.
Yep, Jez holding down Wood right now, as Exile does have an advantage for really the first time since the very first round. It wasn't until the very end that they were able to clutch up and secure the win last round. We do have Bear watching that long angle, not able to make the shot land. Soso will be able to take him out, and trophy system going down. Likely the bomb will be going down soon after, as we got another Exiled player dropping as Silo gets taken out by Chaos. Neji on the very back of American right now as trades come in once again. He's got the nade out. I believe he's actually AFK, which is really, really bad timing for Exiled. And is actually going to find the delayed frag right there. He saw 2 players making the rotation. I think he's got the proper guess right there, but just not the right spot on the wall to actually be able to get the frag. And perfect timing for him. Unfortunately for Chaos, he did not check his corners. Neji is back. And it's once again a 2v1 for Exiled, who has the opportunity to close this gap a little bit more. Now, keep in mind, Space does have that Arctic 50 in hand. If he lands a shot anywhere on the body, it is an automatic kill shot. So this thing can be absolutely lethal, especially when he's landing his shots. He's just going to go ahead and take some shots through the wall, see if he can get anything to land. Won't be able to make it happen yet. I believe he actually spots End right there. Going to slide on the outside. A risky move, but it pays off for him right there as he gets the kill shot. Space still trying to get the wall bang, and it looks like Neji pretty content to play time right now as Space just running around, doesn't have the bomb, or he does have the bomb, but he doesn't get the frag, and it just ends up backfiring right there, as that is going to be another round win for Exiled.
Yeah, that was really smart of Neji to play clock, though, with just a couple seconds left on the board. That forced Space to either climb up and face the close range battle, and really limited where Neji's dangers were. If you stand up in that top part of tin, there's a lot of opportunity for a clean and quick scope, especially coming out of a player like Space. To, again, as you mentioned, anywhere on the body is a one shot, so Neji played it safe, played it smart, picked up the win for the team, brought us to a 4 versus 3, still in the favor of Tragic. But Bear is going to find, once again, an opening kill onto A-Flows. Soso does find the return onto Shine, however.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot out of Bear. We do have a trade coming in for Tragic to even things up, and it looks like they are going to go with the A push right here. We do still have the bomb carrier on the inside of Wood, and Space trying to find a frag on the backside of Trailer, not spotting anybody yet, and the more time goes on, the more it goes to benefit Exiled, as we do have End actually picking up a frag. Making a 2-piece, he gets traded, but perfect timing. You gotta love that 2-for-1 trade if you are Exiled, and now Jez and Space, the only players remaining right here for Tragic. They're going to have to try to make something happen. Space still patrolling that top area, trying to find a pick to even things up, but not able to make the shots land yet. And just like that, 40 seconds remain. Jez, it looked like for a second, might have been AFK, and now returning to the playing field, making the rotation over toward the A site. Space still trying to make something happen, but no opportunities being given by Exiled right now. He's probably been spotted from the inside of Trailer. He's out in the open trying to land the shot onto Neji. He's going to drop down, trying to bait him out. He gets the vehicle explosion with the SMRS, and 3 rounds in a row go on over to Exiled. And what looked like could be an easy runaway for Tragic. Now a very, very tight game.
Yeah, and again, this is an important matchup for Tragic here. If Exiled are even able to take just Search and Destroy off of Tragic, even if they lose going into the final matchup, Tragic are currently tied for first place in Division 2 and only 10 points above Tribe. Tribe and Nova Imperium play against each other later, so one of them is not going to get points, but both of those teams are in a position where they can tie for first place or take first place over Tragic, especially if Tragic were to lose this matchup. I mean, even this game would, again, limit them down to 10 points, and that would put a great position for Nova Imperium to try to take the lead. But we will have to see. Only time will tell. It is now 5-4. Exiled able to find that last round incredibly quickly, and this might be going to a game 3, Bobby.
Yeah, that's 4 rounds in a row going over to Exiled. Did not see this coming, especially with how dominant Tragic had been through the start, but it seems like switching over to the defensive side has benefited Exiled greatly. We are going to get a very quick bomb plant over on B, which we've not really seen a single time for Tragic so far. So it looks like they do have the advantage off the start, but with a player dropping, Soso is going to be able, or he will get avenged by his teammate, and with Silo dropping 4 players apiece, only 25 seconds to work with, we're going to need some utility to go in if we're going to have Exiled with any type of a shot at closing things out right here. The smoke will allow Bear to push on in. Players on the back side, he pushes in perfectly right there, just not taking shots. There's chaos everywhere, and Space is going to shut it down. He'll shut it down with the Arctic 50 right there, just like that. We are tied up at 5-5 going to round 11.
Yeah, that was a big round for Space. Space and Chaos both up in double digits, 10 kills apiece. Soso not too far behind, obviously, for his team at 9. This is now going to be the final round, round 11 of Search and Destroy. We once again have Exiled having the bomb on their side, and unfortunately for them, that has not worked out earlier, but Neji with a big opening kill there. That's going to be a free plant going on over to the A-side bomb, and this is Exiled's biggest chance here, but Neji has to be careful peeking Trailer here, as there are obviously quite a few members of the side of Tragic trying to make rotations over.
Oh, no.
Soso finds a double. This is tragic for the side of Exiled, and Tragic will clean things up.
Wow.
And A-Flows with a little bit of sportsmanship dance.
That looked like it was going to be a phenomenal comeback for Exiled in those last 2 rounds. It just seemed like Tragic honestly kind of flipped a switch and decided they were going to go all out, and they absolutely, even after being down a man and with the bomb plant going in for exiled, just shut them down completely. I believe after losing that first player, I don't think a single player died, and big contributions from Space, Soso, and Chaos all in double digits, as we do have another 2-0 victory for Tragic, who, for those of you who watched on Monday, or on Tuesday, will likely remember they got a 2-0 then as well. So really, really big games for them, and that's going to be really big in regards to the standings. If we take a look right here, they were already 10 points ahead of Tribe Gaming, tied with Nova Imperium. That will at least guarantee that they will be tied for first place heading out of today. And keep in mind, Tribe Gaming and Nova are going up against each other in our final matchup of the night. So more than likely, that game will be going to a game 3, if I had to guess, which means there's a very good chance Tragic will be leaving tonight in the number 1 spot in Division 2.
Yeah, definitely very possible. We will have to see how that one goes. Obviously, we've got several games between now and then. Our next one's going to be Fearless versus Gravity. I do think this is going to be one of the closer games of the night, not because it's kind of the top versus the top, but it is two teams that are very solidly in the kind of lower middle of the pack that has a lot of potential, but just really need to pull things together and has a lot of opportunity. Just looking at our matchups from Tuesday, I mean, Fearless really came through with an incredibly strong performance. I mean, it certainly wasn't the same Fearless team that we saw earlier on in the season. They were played really strong. Gravity as well has some players that we've seen do exceptionally well. That in being B-Thug, Cello, phenomenal players. So I think this should be a pretty good matchup between these two teams. Shield, I believe, was the top fragger for the side of Fearless on Tuesday, so definitely be keeping an eye out for Shield. As well as East in the, I believe it was the hardpoint game, top fragged by quite a massive margin for the team. So another player to watch out for here on the side of Fearless. And one thing I do want to make note, just because this is kind of a repeat of what we did have on Tuesday, East was really hammering down with some of the respawn trip mine kills. I believe it was Will that was really just suffering from a lot of respawn trip mine kills. So good positioning out of East really was able to help delay some of the advancements that the opposition was able to put together. So we'll have to see if he's able to have a repeat of that. We'll have to see if we see any players maybe with some more versatile class choices to avoid some of those scenarios. Only time will tell.
Yeah. I believe it was Fearless versus Violence that we had on Tuesday, where Fearless actually ended up getting the 2-0, which was surprising just because Violence has been pretty solidly in that third place spot. And with that happening, as we take a look at the standings, you guys will see that makes the third place spot for Division 1 really interesting for a number of reasons. Number one, there's now 3 teams within 20 points of each other in Violence, Strike Zone, and Fearless. Strike Zone ended up getting a free 10 points tonight because of the DQ from Exit. We are going to have Fearless going up against Gravity. It's going to be a good matchup, but we've also got Violence going to be going up against NL Esports. Even though NL Esports, a.k.a. Infinix, has struggled a lot this season, they looked really good on Tuesday in their games. So if NL Esports is able to get a 2-0 against Violence and Fearless is able to get a 2-0 right here, just like that, we've got another super tight race where we now have teams tied up for that third place spot. And if Strike Zone is able to pump out some wins coming up next week, really at this point, anything is possible, and it is just going to be an absolutely chaotic end of the season to watch, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we will have to see, and it does look like we have all of the players in here ready to go. Looks like Ivan was the last player joining in for Gravity. Definitely a strong addition to that team. Just waiting on a couple players to get readied up, and we'll get into this hardpoint crash matchup. Our second map will be Search and Destroy Standoff as well. So I think definitely players to look out for on Standoff will be Lethal, who will typically be the primary sniper for the side of Fearless. And honestly, probably Ivan. Ivan on the side of Gravity has been just a incredibly incredibly strong player. Honestly, one of the most consistent players on the team, so definitely going to be a big one to watch out for on the side of Gravity as well.
Yeah, and Fearless was surprisingly strong in their respawn games on Tuesday, so we'll see if they're able to continue to bring that through. Obviously not really known as probably not really known at this point as anything in particular team, just because Tuesday was their first real win, as the rest of the points that they'd gotten this season were the result of DQs. So to see them break out like that, definitely a positive thing to see, as we love to see some of these newer teams develop. It does look like we've got everybody readied up and good to go to start match number 2. So I believe we should be starting momentarily right here as we get ready to hop into hardpoint on Crash.
And again, this was a big map for East on the side of Fearless on our Tuesday matchup. Obviously, every day can be a little bit different, but one of the big factors for Tuesday was, again, just excellent position on the respawn points for the trip mines. Obviously, that requires your team to be getting kills in the first place, so we'll have to see if they're able to really set them up for that same level of aggression. But so far, there's a couple kills going back and forth. Ivan, the first player to get a kill for the side of Gravity, and a couple kills coming through strong for the side of Fearless. And again, this Fearless team is, despite it being the same Fearless team, it does not feel like it this week. They have been doing exceptionally well. Shield popping off pretty hard early on here. 3 kills on the board. Ivan for the side of Gravity. So the 2 players we had made note to mention early on, coming through strong for their teams respectively here. Not a ton of points going on the first hardpoint, which is pretty common between some evenly matched up teams on Crash, just because of how open it is. There's no operators on the board, there's no score streaks on the board, and we do typically see the fight over 3-story, which is what we've seen so far. So a little bit of time left, but right now it looks like Gravity have overall control of P2, and that will be really important for them. Oh, just as I say that though, Lethal and Shield pick up a double kill.
And something really important to keep in mind, each team is allowed to ban one gun. One gun that we typically see banned in pretty much every matchup that we have in Mobile Mayhem is the HVK, but the banned guns for this matchup are the DRH for Fearless and the ASM-10 for Gravity. So that is definitely going to make for a very different playstyle. As you can see, I believe we have 8 HVKs in play right now. Lethal, obviously, one of the few respawn snipers sticking to his guns right now, but over on the side of Gravity, B-Thug, the only player not rocking the HVK, pulling out a chopper of his own. It is going to be an absolute spam fest, and with the broken range that this gun has, definitely look to see if we may potentially have some players that don't have as many kills breaking out in a big way because of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did see East was able to pick up one of those respawn kills, so not quite as impactful as it had been on Tuesday, but definitely something that could influence this over the rest of the game. Yusa and Ivan picking up a couple kills for the team there. Pretty dead even, 31 versus 34 on the board, so still anybody's game. Especially as moving into not necessarily P3 here, but P4 and P5 are incredibly difficult hard points to break. As well as and difficult to make that rotation over if you lose the initial fight. At that point, it's almost worth just being the team to set up for next. So we'll have to see how these teams make those rotations. And so far, the feed is looking like all Gravity these past couple minutes here.
Yeah, Ivan moving up into double digits. He's going to get beamed off the top of that building right as I say that. Riot's only got 3 kills, but definitely a crucial one for Fearless right now. We do have pretty solid controls staying on the side of Gravity as Ivan now hopping up to the top of Delhi. He'll be able to overlook pretty much everybody making that rotation in, but he's going to get beamed off by Steezy, and we do have an Annihilator in the hands of Shield. Could be big, especially when it comes to... Oh, the unfortunate spawns right there. Yusa gonna spawn right next to him, and that opens things up once again for Gravity, as not only are they able to get pretty much max time on P3, but they are able to get that easy rotation over to P4. If they're able to hold this for full time, they will be very, very close to that 150-point marker, and especially as we start to see some of those operators come into play, very good chance that they'll be able to hold, but Shield gets a huge frag right there, pushing into the hard point, ends up getting the break right here, but the Annihilators coming in for Cello allows for the easy retake. Won't be able to hit the secondary shot right there, but sending out the Shock RC should result in another easy frag for him, but he gets shut down by Steezy. A big break coming in, but keep in mind, P5 is going to be even more difficult to break, and this just opened up a free rotation for Gravity.
Yeah, especially as East was able to get that anchor. And again, that's almost why it's quite often more beneficial for your team to actually give up those later points. East, yeah, you made a rotation over. You were able to make the break and pick up the points. But, I mean, that was a 20-point trickle there. That was not enough for Gravity to win the game. And it gave Gravity the respawns they need as East was the one to clear out and get that anchor on P4. Now it's Gravity set up in a much more difficult hardpoint to break. And they're in a situation where they can finish on this hardpoint. So if we want anything to come from Team Fearless here, then they need to make the play now. But just like that, it's Gravity just finding a clean kill feed over and over again. As we can see the side of Fearless respawning all the way across the map. Such a difficult thing to overcome. And now just 15 points away. This is very much so looking like Gravity are going to be picking up a win here as B-Thug finds a couple extra kills there to finish things off. And that is going to be a game 1 going over to Gravity.
Yeah, and just a big mistake for Fearless. The late push over to P4 definitely cost them in a big way. Is the only thing that could really ever turn that around is a perfect Annihilator push through the entire team, and their only Annihilator got shut down pretty quickly. Unfortunate for them, as we do have Gravity coming away with a pretty easy win. Just about everybody in double digits, only 2 players there for Fearless, and not too surprising to see the scoreboard where it is looking at the kill count that we've got right now. We'll see whether or not Fearless is able to turn things around in game number 2. We know lethal snipes have been lethal over the past couple weeks, so we'll see if he's able to pull those out and potentially propel this to a game number 3, but we will have to wait and see. Game number 2 is going to be Search and Destroy on standoff.
Yeah, we'll likely just have a couple players switching up some of their classes, getting ready for Search and Destroy here. Obviously moving out of a hardpoint matchup, you have less and less of our Dead Silence players, and then moving into Search and Destroy, obviously a lot of players are going to be looking to make that change. So just give some players a couple moments here. We'll get you guys into the game. And for anybody that maybe just popped in a little bit late, that was Gravity picking up the first round of that match. And, again, Team Fearless, even though they didn't win there was a lot of opportunity, and they were not super far behind in the kills department either. So this Fearless team has actually really stepped it up in comparison to what we saw from them early on in Mobile Mayhem. So one way or another, I think Fearless have to be proud of their performance here today so far.
Yeah, and a lot of that just looked like inexperience. That's sometimes a mistake that we see some of these newer teams make, is just bad timing on rotations and knowing when to give up a hard point. So the nice thing about Search and Destroy for some of these newer teams that may not be as experienced but have a lot of that raw talent is they get a reset after every round. So that allows them to adapt their strategy more and also learn from some of the mistakes that they make. So we do have Fearless making the push into the A site. Not too surprising to see. We got Shield going for the plant over on A side. Lethal's able to pick up first blood. Cello does get a trade onto Riots, but with the plant down, it will be advantage for Fearless right here as Lethal very nearly lands a wallbang. Would have been perfect. Lara shuts him down pretty quickly. 3 players each team remaining. East will get taken out. Steezy going to be all by himself and gets the frag, but he'll get shut down by Cello. It will be a 1-0 lead for Gravity off the start.
Yeah, Gravity in a great spot coming off of that win on Crash. They now moved into Standoff, Search and Destroy. We're able to pick up round 1. Cello and Lara having a pretty big round there for the team. I believe Lara was actually able to save B-Thug there with the first pick they were able to make. So definitely keep an eye out for that, as we do have a much slower rotation coming out of the side of Fearless. Is still an aggressive full team push, but they definitely kind of played back a little bit, checked for the peaks, and then made their decision to push on up. It's going to be a free bomb plant going on over as Shield gets that one down. But it's B-Thug finding the pick onto Lethal, and that's a huge, huge opening for Gravity trying to make this rotation over.
Yep. Once again, the aggressive push over. Oh my gosh, B-Thug shutting down everyone. We saw him do some very similar things on Tuesday, making some absolutely ridiculous plays where he was actually managing 1v3s and whatnot. It'll be another win for Gravity right here as they do go up 2-0. And B-Thug looking like he could be one of the breakout players for the season. Wasn't really huge for Gravity through the earlier parts of the season, but especially in Search and Destroy has really been popping off as of late. We'll see if that's something that he's able to continue to do, is starting to be a little more consistent, especially at this higher level of play. We actually have a pretty passive approach, which is not something we typically see on the offensive on standoff. Is it looks like we will actually have Fearless sitting back, playing for picks off the start rather than going for that initial push.
Well, it hasn't worked out for them. So
it's been pretty easy for the retakes to go through for Gravity, so we'll see if they're able to find a pick right here. Is no first blood coming through for either team yet.
Yeah, and I do think this is smart coming out of Fearless. I mean, they tried the aggressive push early on in the past 2 rounds. Didn't work out for them. Now, I'm all a fan of if it's not broke, don't fix it. But when it's not working, you definitely have to be the team that is able to pull the trigger and switch up the strategy and kind of swallow your pride a little bit there. So I do like that Fearless has made that switch. It seems to so far still be working out better in Gravity's favor. But obviously, as you mentioned earlier, Search and Destroy is a little bit more forgiving as Yusa just hunts Shield down through mid there. 3 rounds in a row, 3-0 going over to the side of Gravity.
Yeah, things not looking great for Fearless right now as Gravity has been in complete control for the entire time. Only 5 total kills on the board for Fearless, and typically, even though we do see some crazy comebacks, that's usually a sign of potentially an early ending. We are going to have the aggressive A push once again as Shield will get the bomb down. But it will be a player down for Fearless once again. Riots is able to take out Yusa, but we do now have Shield pushing outside of the bomb site, which is not something we've really seen Fearless do, but definitely one of the better strategies, especially with the opportunity to play boxes and potentially get some frags. Unfortunately, Steezy not going to be able to win that gunfight, as it's going to be another easy defuse coming in for Gravity, who will go up 4-0 and looking like they could shut this down pretty quickly with a 2-0 win.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. And again, Gravity is a team that has been playing pretty well for a new coming team. We've definitely seen the upper half and the lower half of both of these teams. But Gravity, at the end of the day here, are certainly coming through with a stronger performance. They're making incredibly strong team-wide rotations. As I say that, Riots is actually able to pick up a kill onto Ivan there. This is a very aggressive backside B rotation coming out of the side of Fearless. Maybe this switch up will be what they need to pick up a couple kills and maybe find themselves around, because so far it has been all momentum going over to the side of Gravity. Man, that's unfortunate for Shield. Does get first bullets out, gets dropped by Yusa though.
Ooh, and perfect timing for B-Thug. He's going to find the pick onto Steezy. It will be Gravity up a man once again, and with the way this one's gone, not too surprising to see at this point. B-Thug leading his team with 6 kills right now, and the consistency has just absolutely been there. It will be Riots getting a trade, and that will even things up at 2-2. B-Thug and Cello remain, as B-Thug does get eyes on one Fearless player, but not going to be able to make things happen yet. Riots absolutely beaming Cello out of the sky. Beautiful shots for him. It will be B-Thug all by himself, but he is not any type of stranger to clutches like these. We'll see if he can make something happen right here. Nobody over on spawn side for Fearless, and they're actually now making the rotation over toward A. Unfortunate timing for him is they actually ran directly in front of him, but turns out to be the right timing. 1v1 right here. East going to be the only player remaining. He's going to get the plant over onto A and now left to defend. B-Thug going top grandmas to see if he can find the pick and looking to make the rotation side of broken wall. Spots East over top of the head glitch, but he ducks in time. East still yet to pick up a frag, and B-Thug hoping to add another one to his montage, but he won't be able to make it happen. East is going to shut it down, and it will be Fearless taking a round as we move to 4-1.
Yeah, and Fearless definitely needed that round to stop the momentum because this game has been all Gravity moving through it. There's a big opening pick that Riots was able to pick up onto, I believe it was onto Ivan. So really kind of helped work out for the team there. A couple of the players that we would expect to be doing a little bit better, though, on the side of Fearless, at least based on our Tuesday performance, would be Shield, who is sitting down at 2 kills. Lethal, who you'd really like to see step up a little bit, does finally pick up a kill onto B-Thug there, putting 2 on the board for himself. And East, who is the top fragger for this team on Tuesday as well, struggled in the first matchup as well as here, but Lethal pops off!
Oh, what a clip right there. The dark scope followed by the no scope, and that's actually going to give Fearless the one-man advantage right here. Is Cello going to be the only player remaining? The bomb is down over by Blue, so he's going to need to pick that up, and he's going to get spotted by Riot right here. Not a whole lot of HP to work with, forced to make the rotation inside Grandma's. Likely going to be expected, and it looks like Fearless pretty content to wait for him to go for the bomb. He's going to see if he can find a pick right here. Still 50 seconds to work with, and with one player on the outside of shops making the rotation from boxes. Could potentially catch them from behind, but he's going to find the angle, not get the kill shot, and with his location exposed, that makes things that much more difficult, especially with both players right next to the bomb location. Trying to spray through, see if he can manage a wall bang, but he's going to get spotted on the backside. Not a head glitch to work with. Riot beams him off of it. It will be 2 rounds in a row going over to Fearless.
Yeah, and Fearless definitely needed that, and we are now into the second half, so they will get their opportunity to plant as well. Obviously, or Gravity will get their opportunity to plant as well, so we'll have to see if they're able to make anything out of that. Gravity have been a really strong team as far as making the rotations over. B-Thug finds a beautiful opening pick onto Lethal, and not much longer after, Yusa is able to pick up a kill onto Riots. It's now a 5-3 advantage for the side of Gravity, and they're just 2 rounds away from being able to close out a 2-0 victory over Fearless here. And now it is East alone against 4 members of Gravity. East been struggling all game long to find his kills. Finally picks up a second kill in round 7, but it's still a 3 versus 1, and with only 40 seconds on the clock, East has to find those 3 kills as well as a defuse. So definitely a rough position to be in if you are Fearless.
And I do like the trigger discipline from East right there. Saw 3 people making the rotation, but waited till he had the easy pick, and that did allow him to make the 1v4 a little bit more manageable. He's going to hop outside right there, but immediately taking shots with only 15 seconds to work with. Not a very manageable situation. Laura is ready for it, and that will be another round going over to Gravity. Only 1 round away from closing this one out as they seem to regain a little bit of the momentum that they had before. Obviously, that opening pick for B-Thug has been so crucial for them time and time again with 8 kills on the board. Making the aggressive push now over toward the A site. We'll see if he's able to make it happen again and potentially shut this down early as Cello does get the opening pick. Lethal gets a trade. Shield finds one himself. Frags coming in left and right. Riot's taking shots. It's going to be B-Thug all by himself, looking to find another 1v3 for himself, and we'll see if he can spot Lethal on the backside right there, but Lethal shuts things down quickly. And it now moves to 5-3 as Fearless slowly creeping back into this one.
Yeah, they definitely have an opportunity. It would be a long comeback for them to make it, but if they're able to find the next 3 rounds, they definitely can do so. They just can't afford to make a mistake because Gravity have overall just been playing stronger. They've had better rotations, as well as they've just been winning more of their gunfights as a whole. B-Thug will pick up a kill onto East there. Shield taking quite a few bullets, but so far has survived. Just kidding. B-Thug comes through with a second kill for himself, and it might even find a third if Riot speaks out, but no! Well, B-Thug pushes up a little too soon. He will survive. I can't believe Riots wasn't able to get the kill there. Yusa did pull off the save, but Steezy is now alone versus all 5 members of Gravity. Finds one, needs to find 4 more. Not gonna happen. Laura able to pick up the kill. And it's 6-3. That's going to be Gravity taking the second matchup here between Gravity and Fearless, picking themselves up 20 points for tonight.
Yeah, definitely a really big matchup for them. Gravity's been one of those teams that just unfortunately placed into Division 2, which has been so incredibly competitive in Mobile Mayhem. And despite having one of the higher point totals in all of Mobile Mayhem, not quite in contention, but that'll actually move them a good bit closer as we go on over to the standings right here. That's going to move them up to 90 points. If Tribe Gaming ends up getting 2-0 tonight by Nova Imperium, that means they're within 1 day of potentially moving into one of those top spots. So, like we always say, nothing is ever certain in any of this until the very final bell, and you can see Gravity making a really big push here at the end of the season to try to make their way into one of those top 3 spots. Keep in mind the top 3 teams from each division will play in the semifinals. We do have a 1-game quarterfinals where the 2 and 3 teams play against each other, so still lots on the line and lots of gameplay to be seen. Looking forward to seeing how the rest of this plays out as we do get ready for our next matchup, which is going to be NL Esports versus Violence, which, once again, a matchup for Division 1 that has lots and lots of implications.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely some exciting matchups still ahead of us, and a lot of action between these some of these teams that are coming up. I mean, we're once again in the situation where there's teams fighting for third place in the last couple we have like 4 days of season left.
I believe so. Admins, can you confirm or deny? Because I have no idea.
I think it's 3 or 4. So, I mean, we're coming down into the last couple days before we get into playoffs. So, really in a position where a lot can change. Obviously, our Division B is looking very, very close between Tragic, Nova, and Tribe, but still anybody's game over there. I mean, there's an opportunity where if Tribe doesn't continue to be a strong team, if they kind of fall back into their Season 2, Season 3 habits, they definitely are in a position where they could fall out of the top 3. Looking at NL on the side of the A-side division, they're a team that we expected to come through and really storm through the league and have been struggling exceptionally well there as well. I mean, they're sitting at 80 points, Violence at 50, Strike Zone not far behind there at 30. So I don't really think NL are in a position where they're going to fall out of top 3, but we definitely could see Violence move up, or we could see Violence move down. So we'll have to check that one out. Gravity with their 2-0 there, we're able to pick up to 90 points now. So they're now just 10 points behind Tribe Gaming, just 20 points behind Nova Imperium. And those two are facing off head-to-head in our 5th matchup tonight.
Yeah, so apparently we only have 1 more day of the regular season.
Is it down to 1? I thought.
Yeah, Zim just said 1 day left in the regular season, which means Tuesday is going to be our last day of regular season matchups. That's going to be, I mean, you guys better turn on your notifications for Tuesday's stream, because that is going to be a very tight one, which we still have to wait and see what the rest of the games tonight hold to find out just how much is going to be on the line there. But lots and lots to go, and definitely looking forward to watching the semifinals and finals. We are working on getting these teams loaded in, as we do have 1 player in here for NL. Momentarily should have the rest of the team. For those of you wondering what tonight's matchups are, Tribe Gaming versus Nova Imperium at the end of the night is going to be an absolute blast to watch. Right now we got NL Esports versus Violence, followed by Gene Gaming versus Fierce. I am going to go grab a drink of water real quick, so I will be back momentarily. Oh, we lost Day. He'll be back soon. Don't worry, chat. In the meantime, do want to keep you guys updated. For those of you who were not here at the beginning of the stream, we do actually have our nominees for the awards for Mobile Mayhem season number 4. Speaking of which, Zim is recommend that we send the community poll now. So if you would like to vote in that, I will be spamming the link down in the description, and we'll probably have the mods make a link for this as well. For people asking in chat, no, Ferg is not playing. Ferg does not play for Tribes roster. I don't know how many times I've said that in my 6 to 8 months casting Call of Duty Mobile, but no, Ferg does not play for Tribes Pro Team. We do have a poll for you guys as far as the award winners. So we've got Marksman of the Split, MVP of the Split, and Rookie of the Split. Fan awards voting. I'll put that in the YouTube stream. That in the Trovo stream as well. So you guys go ahead and vote. Zim says vote Zim for every award. You do with that what you wish. But yeah, that is all you need. And I believe this will determine, what does this determine? Is this just for fun, or does this also determine the All-Star games as well? He said yes. Top 4. So the top 4 from the MVP voting will go to All-Stars? Question mark? Oh, that we will then... Oh, okay. Or rather, Gosler... Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, the All-Star game is definitely going to be a blast to watch. That'll be taking place on December 29th. Definitely be keeping an eye out for that. A nice little post-Christmas chill night to watch some great COD Mobile. You guys will definitely want to be there. Envoy with the raid of 162 viewers. I appreciate it. Can we get some raid hype in the chat? Always greatly appreciated. We do have Envoy getting loaded into the lobby right now. And yes, the All-Star voting will determine the players eligible to be drafted. I will go ahead and put that link in the description one more time for those of you who would like to vote. Thank you to all the mods making that a little bit easier. Working on getting the rest of our players loaded in. And we should be good to go momentarily. And it looks like we've got all of our players loaded in, so we should be good to go momentarily right here. As we get ready for Violence versus NL, formerly Infinix, definitely going to be a great one. Taking a look at the standings one more time before we hop into the game. As you can see, these teams not too far separated and battling it out for those second and third spots. A lot on the line for Violence, especially depending on how some of these later matchups shake up. They only need to get 10 points to 100% secure themselves a spot in the playoffs. But keep in mind, this is not going to be an easy matchup for them. And if Strike Zone or Fearless is able to get a 2-0 win in Tuesday's matchups, keep in mind that is the last day of gameplay. We could potentially have a playoff for that number 3 spot, depending on how Violence's games play out. But we've got most of our players readied up and should be good to go as we do get ready to hop into our first matchup, which is going to be Hardpoint on Summit.
Yeah, and I definitely think this should be a pretty good matchup as well as this is a pretty important one for NL, as again, they are sitting in second place in Division 1. Don't think they're really at risk of falling out with the fact that we only have 1 day left. But definitely a lot of bragging rights on the table as well. Violence are sitting 30 points down, which means if they're able to pick up a win over NL here, and then as well pick up a win on our Tuesday matchups, they very well, for the bragging rights, could push into second place if NL is not able to pull themselves together here. First matchup will be a Hardpoint on Summit, and this is a incredibly punishing map for the anchors on P3 and 4, so definitely be keeping an eye out for players making those rotations over. Looks like we might have had a disconnect there for a second, but everybody is here, and we do have both teams making the rotation over. So far it has been NL with a couple kills on the board, but just as I say that, it is Violence coming through with a couple big picks of their own, as well as getting some good time on the initial hardpoint. UG will come in and find a couple kills, as well as Cheto. That might be an opportunity for them to switch things back into their favor. This is a pretty highly contested first hardpoint, second hardpoint moving on over to the bridge, so kind of same situation, a lot of spawn potential from both sides. But as we move into P3 and into P4 as well, that's where teams are really going to have opportunities to pick up, 30, 40, 50 points at a time off of a hardpoint, just based on who's able to get there when and who wins the gunfights. So keep an eye out for those next couple hard points as well.
Yeah, and another surprising decision from both teams. So keep in mind, each team is allowed to ban 1 gun. NL Esports actually voiding their ban, so not electing to ban anything, and Violence banning the QQ9, which is something that I feel like we do see NL use a little bit, but not a super common gun to use. That means the HVK will be in play once again, as we do see a good number of players using it. Not quite as many as last game, but definitely a decent amount in play. And we are going to have Violence off to a pretty strong start right here. So they've got a 20-point lead. We've got NL on the hard point. They're going to be able to pick up some time right here, but it looks like Violence now securing spawns for P3, which we always talk about, very, very punishing. Velo's going to be able to get the frag and prevent the rotation for the time being. Cheto holding down the hard point, and now we do have Violence spawning out, and that ended up backfiring very, very quickly as Cheto finds another frag right there. Not only is NL Esports able to get most of that time on the hill, but they're able to take control of Nyx, take control of spawns, and this is going to be a very difficult break to find for Violence.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have UG having a shotgun out here, so something definitely a little bit different that we haven't seen as much lately, but it seems to be working out for him. 9 kills on the board, doing exceptional. Did a great job anchoring for the team there as well, so picks up kill number 10. Almost kill number 11. Might be able to find it still. We'll have to see. He's going to get dropped by Beetle there. But so far it is NL picking up quite a few points on this P3. A lot of opportunity for them and a lot of need for them to pick up points here. I mean, obviously they're not really going to catch up with Fierce in first place no matter what happens. But again, this is bragging rights of the previous season champions. So they definitely need to be picking up a win up against, the likes of a team like Violence, who's, obviously competing in their division.
Yeah, Violence deciding to give up the hard point, probably the right decision right there. Gave it a couple tries, but weren't able to get the break. Lazary actually not able to knock Yuji off of his Annihilator, and that's going to be a big miss for him, as that'll allow Yuji to... He misses 3 shots in a row, not something you'll see a whole lot from these players.
He died to the impact of a smoke as well.
He might have. I assumed it was the ballistic shield of Velo, but we've actually got Envoy. I don't know if he pushed in or if spawns flipped right there, but just like that, NL able to push in, get flips, and they've got control of the hard point once again. And at this point, looking almost impossible for this Violence team to make a comeback happen right here, especially with smokes going in. The decoy gets shut down by the War Machine pretty quickly. We can see all the operator skills out, but only 15 seconds before NL shuts it down. Tatio gets the frag on the rotating player with the Annihilator. A Pred missile will come in, and we will have NL Esports hopping back onto the hard point. Looks like more than likely they're going to go ahead and win it right here as we got Tatio pulling out the Annihilator once again. Shadow shuts things down with a Pred missile, and that will be game number 1 going to NL Esports.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, NL just won a lot more of their gunfights, had incredibly strong rotations, specifically Yuji, a player that, we always had considered just to be a very strong player for this lineup, really came through strong for the side of NL here, made some really good anchor rotations. We see him top fragging for the team, top scorer for the team as well, pulling out something that we haven't really seen a lot in this season, and that's pulling out a shotgun for some of these maps that actually have some longer rotations. For example, going down A side search bomb, down by the trolley along the hillside path. He made a couple really strong rotations there as well. So not really giving himself the range advantage, but just making smart and timely rotations.
Yeah, and for the most part, NL looking really good there. Munoz, the one outlier, going 2-9. Not really sure what happened. Obviously, it wasn't a super big factor, but hopping into the search and destroy, no doubt they would love to see more of a contribution from him, as definitely had an off game right there. We should be pretty good to hop into game number 2 momentarily right here, as we already have most of our players readied up. We will be playing Search and Destroy on Meltdown. Obviously, the sniper's going to play a really big role once again. You always got to keep an eye out for Cheto. Every single season, he's one of the top snipers, and especially once he starts to get into the zone, he is an absolute force to be contended with. It looks like Tatio actually got a sniper out as well. We'll see whether or not he's going to stick with that. But it looks like we are good to hop into game number 2 on Meltdown.
Defend the objectives. They have the bomb.
Yeah, it would be different to see Tatio sniping, but he's a player that in the past has been able to pick it up and absolutely show us that he can. We do see Cheto switching off of the AR class there, back over to the sniper as expected, and Tatio will be off the sniper. So going kind of back into where we would expect this formerly Infinex, now NL team to play. Tatio does pick up a first blood on Will there. That's really big for the side of NL. Envoy guns Lazary off the head glitch. Yuji picks up a kill onto Decoy there as well. This has been a big day for Yuji so far here, Bobby.
Yeah, he's pulling out the sniper. As you say that, he ends up getting dropped by Velo, but still a 4v1 for NL should be relatively manageable. Velo's not going to be able to land a shot. Envoy shuts him down right there. They will go up 1-0 off the start, and sometimes we just see this from players. Sometimes it's your day, and everything seems to be going your way, as we see usually top fragging in respawn off the start. Definitely not a bad player. He's just usually not the top player on a team of really, really skilled players. So we'll see if he can continue this, as he does pull out the sniper, which we don't typically see him use a whole lot. No first bloods coming in yet, as Velo going to send out his Molotov. He's got the bomb in hand, looking to make the rotation over toward the B side, and I believe we actually will have Yuji rotating all the way back to spawn. The plant will go in for violence right here. They'll finally have an advantage, and we'll see if they're able to avoid the retake. Concussion going in. Munoz sliding the corner. He's able to get a frag early, and definitely a good sign for him as he struggled off the start. What a retake from NL. It went from 5-5 to 5-0 in a matter of seconds, and absolutely decimating this violence team, making it a 2-0.
Yeah, this is much more the NL we would have expected to see come into this tournament after, being the reigning champs. Obviously, they have certainly had some roster changes, playing Munoz once again, who we haven't really seen much of since Season 2. do believe NL lost both Tempo and Dante, who were actually incredibly strong pickups for this roster. So it is a little unfortunate for them. Tempo obviously being one of the players, one of the main roster players that was able to help them win in Season 3. So that may be indeed one of the reasons that they have been struggling here. But right now they are doing exceptional up against Violence and Search and Destroy.
And Envoy, 4 kills on the board, but Will's actually able to find him from behind, and things falling apart pretty quickly for NL right now, as it will be Cheto all by himself. He's not going to be able to land the shot. Beetle's going to shut him down right there, and Violence staying in this game, at least for the time being, would love to push it to a Game 3 to try to increase their chances of maybe snagging one of those, or really holding that playoff spot. If they're able to get just 10 points, that will 100% solidify them as the number 3 team in Division 1, but with the way NL's playing right now, it's a pretty big ask. So we'll see if they can maybe find some first blood right here, make things a little more manageable. But Cheto, with that HVK in hand, finds it right there. Envoy finds another. Will's able to get a trade, but things not looking great off the start as Yuji ends up getting the trip mine kill, and just one of those days for him where everything seems to go right. He's going to pull out the Deagle, swap it for the BK, and it's going to be Velo all by himself against the 4 remaining players for NL. Waiting back in spawn, just hoping that he can get a pick. Not going to spot anybody, and getting pushed by 3 players at once. He hits the quick scope, but Munoz able to get the frag right there, and NL goes up to a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, NL having a incredibly strong performance here today. Tatio playing incredibly strong in Search and Destroy here. Envoy doing exceptional as well. Both of them have 5 kills on the board. And they've really been doing a lot to punish the rotations coming out of Violence. They're now 3 rounds away from picking themselves up 20 points. Obviously, still anybody's game. Violence could turn things around here, push us to a Game 3. And again, that's kind of an important situation for Violence to have to go in, right? Because Violence, as you mentioned, need 10 points to secure themselves a 3rd place spot. So if Violence aren't able to pick up any points here and also lose their Tuesday matchups, there's an opportunity that they could be tied with, I believe it's
either Strike Zone or Fearless.
Strike Zone or Fearless, who both have 30 points. So, and Fearless is a team that, again, has been playing well. So that is definitely a big opportunity for them to look forward to. I'm not entirely sure what the tiebreaker is. Maybe the admins can let us know. I don't know if those teams just play each other at the end or what it may be, but
yeah,
we will.
Things
yeah,
once
it
again.
Looks like they'll play themselves a tiebreaker match. Cool.
Yeah, once again going over to NL. Envoy now moving up to 7 kills. No surprise to see Tatio at 6 right there. Switching sides, we will have Envoy pushing aggressively over toward the B site. Typically the move for the majority of these teams. He's looking to hold mid right now. Decoy going to be forced back. He's actually going to land a shot onto Envoy, an absolute beauty, and that'll even things up as the plant goes in over onto the B site. Decoy getting hit marker right there, forced to rotate back toward mid. He's going to see if he can manage to find somebody over top of generators. As he's going to spot Tatio right there. I don't know how it is physically possible that that's a hit marker, because he could only see the top of his head. But unfortunately for him, Tatio will remain alive for the time being. And that's just never a good sign to have Tatio still alive. Fortunately, will be able to shut it down. He's going to get taken out. Decoy now in a 1v1. Not a whole lot of time to work with. Cheto waiting for the defuse to come in. Times things perfectly. Decoy not going to be able to land this shot. And it's too little too late as NL wins another round 5-1.
Yeah, NL now 1 game away from picking themselves up an additional 20 points. Again, they're not in a position where they're realistically going to catch up to Fierce. They are not in a position where they're going to drop out of the playoffs. Their spot is secured. But at this point, it's practice and bragging rights, right? And that's definitely important leading up into the last day of a tournament. So we will have to keep an eye out for that. I mean, Cheto really picked up in that last round, able to clutch up for the team. We do now have an incredibly fast bomb plant going over to the side of NL as well. So this is very, very quickly looking like it's going to be a 6-1 NL win. We do have a couple trades back and forth. Right now it is NL with a 4 versus 2 advantage, and that does put the side of Violence in an incredibly difficult situation. 20 seconds on the clock. They need to pick up a 4 versus 1 clutch. Not going to happen. Tatio picks up that kill, and 6-1 NL Esports close it out in a clean 2-0 fashion over Violence.
And like you said, that's the NL that we've come to know and the NL that we expected to see for the majority of the season, but they've just had various struggles in various positions, sometimes not having their main starting roster, sometimes just not playing up to what most people would expect is their potential, but definitely showing that they deserve to be one of the top teams, even though they haven't gotten as many points as a lot of people expected for them to this season, because they're in Division 1 very, very solidly in second place and setting up to make another playoff appearance as they do get the win. Like we said, 6-1, making things look pretty easy right there. Tatio, Envoy, and Cheto all above that 7-kill mark and just cruising to victory. We'll see if that's something they can maintain heading into the playoffs, as obviously we do have one more day of league play, but 100% certain that they will be making an appearance. And right now, if you're Violence, not a spot that you would love to be in. You've got one more day of gameplay. You only need 10 points to solidify a playoff spot, but with the way that Fearless has been playing as of late, even though they did get 2-0 today, could very well tie things up if Violence isn't able to muster a win at some point on Tuesday. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. For our next match, we are going to have Gene Gaming versus Fierce. Obviously, Fierce currently at the very, very top of Division 1 and will not be going anywhere. Absolutely secured the number 1 spot right now, just getting some practice in. And if you're Gene Gaming, you would love to get at least one map here just as you look to make a name for yourself. They've struggled throughout the season, but could absolutely put up a good fight, especially against a Fierce team that probably doesn't really have a whole lot of urgency and for the most part is likely planning to kind of cruise through this game.
One would expect, one would absolutely expect, as Fierce have just been undefeated in every category this season, and Gene, again, as you mentioned, have been honestly just struggling to find any ground. I do actually think that Gene has some really strong talent on their team, though, so hopefully they're able to work things out either, if they could pick up today. I mean, don't want to call it a miracle, but it would certainly be a long, hard battle for them to do so against the top team in the league. Because not even just on a team-wide standpoint, for a majority of the team, that would be a massive step up for the players to perform that well. I mean, Coding and Jesus Saves You, definitely the top 2 players on the team, at least in my opinion. But I don't know if it stacks up to the sheer talent and experience that Fierce bring to the table. So we will have to see how that is reflected in this coming up matchup, and we will look to get that into you guys as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, that's the thing about Fierce. They just don't really have any weak spots in their game. They've got snipers, they've got fraggers, they're good in respawn, they're good in search and destroy. They've been incredibly consistent throughout the season. Like you said, Forsaken, definitely one of the forerunners for that MVP spot. And with the way he's been playing alongside the stars that he's got playing next to him, it's just hard to think that anybody's going to really give them a fight. Potentially NL in the playoffs, I'm assuming. More than likely, they'll go up against each other. That being said, we've seen NL struggle a little bit when it has come to the playoffs, so there's a chance that they won't go up against each other, and if that's the case, probably won't be until the finals that Fierce really gets a good fight. I am excited to see who that's going to be, because right now it just looks like anything could happen in Division 2.
Yeah, Division 2 is incredibly close between not just 2, not just 3, but 4 teams are really, really just within 10 or 20 points of each other in Division 2. Moving into our fourth matchup. Currently, our fifth matchup will be Tribe versus Nova Imperium. Believe if Nova Imperium wins, whether it's a 2-1 or a 2-0, I believe they secure their spot at that point. Because the fourth place contester only has 90 points. So picking up 10 points, I believe, would put them at 120. So they would be locked in at that point. So it's incredibly, incredibly important for them to pick up a win here. But looking right over at Tribe as well for match 5, I mean, they're just sitting 10 points above. Oh boy, what team is it right below them? I believe it's Gravity right below them.
Yep.
Yeah, Gravity. So they're just 10 points above Gravity right now. Same situation for Tribe, except for they would need to pick up the 2-0 victory over Nova Imperium. So a lot riding on that last match, and looks like we are getting Gene ready to load up into the lobby now, so we should be able to get match 4 started up for you guys here. I mean, again, I think for the most of us, we would definitely think this is going to be a fierce leaning matchup. But again, I do think there's a couple players on the side of Gene that we really need to look out for, because I believe that they're upcoming talent here in Mobile Mayhem. That's going to be seeing how the likes of Codeine and Jesus Can Save You and how they're able to perform up against Fierce. So definitely keep an eye out for them.
And part of what makes this Fierce roster so lethal is it's not just the Fierce that we've seen over the past few seasons. This is a team that has made many finals appearances and not been able to get a win. But with Arsenal disbanding, Arsenal was one of the best young teams last season. They picked up most of the best players from Arsenal. So they picked up Shadow, they picked up Main Mike. I think they picked up one other player. And keeping the majority of the players that have been really good for them, they've just been able to create another one of these super teams that we've kind of seen form. I feel like it kind of started with Tribe, and then they made the transition to phone, so they struggled for a little bit. But now that they've been on phone for long enough, they've been able to make it back to the top. And then it happened with Nova Imperium, and now happening with Fierce, and happening in a little bit of a way with Turbulence. Now Tragic as well, where there are a lot of players on that team that weren't really starting players before, but putting them all on a starting roster, and all of a sudden they're just absolutely frying everyone. So really anything could happen in Division 2, and we're just going to have to wait and see, as there's lots on the line, $2,500 that we're playing for, and it is going to be an absolute blast to watch over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it definitely should be a good one. There'll be a lot of exciting matchups coming in the finals, at least based on how a lot of what I would expect the next couple days of Mobile Mayhem to be. Obviously, kind of the big thing is going to be, how does Tribe perform here right now, as well as how does Gravity perform on Tuesday's matchups, because I think that's about the closest that we would be in. Tragic, they are currently sitting in a uncontested first place. I mean, even if they were to lose first place in Division 2, they still are not in any situation where they're going to fall out of playoff territory. So they really just got to be feeling good. Tribe, obviously, they have a pretty strong uphill battle against them, though. This is going to be up against Nova Imperium. We may have some new rules in future Mobile Mayhem seasons, yet to be entirely decided yet, I believe. But as of right now, this could be a very close matchup, I would think.
I see people in chat asking why they can't vote for Deathly's in the awards. He has been banned from Mobile Mayhem. That was a part of the reason that Exet had to take 2 straight days of DQ. So there is an incident that happened there. That's the reason that he can't be voted for in the awards. So for people asking, going forward, Deathly's will not be playing with Exet.
In Mobile Mayhem at all.
In Mobile Mayhem at all, yeah. So not this season or in future seasons. just waiting for one more player to load in for Fierce, and then we should be good to go to hop into game number 1, which is going to be hardpoint on Crash, something that we have become more and more accustomed to seeing over the past couple seasons. So we'll see how these two teams match up against each other. As we've said before, right now, Gene Gaming still trying to grind for one of those top spots and hoping that they can make it up there into playoff position one day. But right now, just looking to make a name for themselves. Getting a win versus Fierce would absolutely do that. So they will no doubt be giving it their all as they look to take down currently, I believe, the top point getter in all of Mobile Mayhem.
Yeah, it would certainly be a massive upset. I mean, again, Fierce are not in a position where no matter what happens here, they don't fall out of the top, the top of Division 1. So Fierce probably feeling pretty comfortable. Does look like no main mic today. We are going to be picking up Robalo for that last spot of Fierce's lineup. Just to go over the weapon bans real quick. Gene Gaming has banned the HVK, and Fierce has banned the ASM-10. And, that might even almost be some of the... I know you've been talking, Bobby, about the HVK kind of in a lot of cases neutralizes some of the skill gap. This may be Gene admitting the skill gap's too big to allow the HVK. So that may be just a little bit of a nice flag wave over to the side of Fierce. We do have Sneaky hopping on up, does get first blood onto Overtake. Then this is a little different. We normally do see Sneaky being a player that does like to respawn snipe, and he is not. So I don't know. Shadow also really loves to respawn snipe, and he's not. So not really what I entirely expected out of this team, but we do have a lead developing for the side of Fierce already. Robalo just barely makes it out alive with 4 HP there. He will get the kill, and he will survive for another gunfight.
Yep, and right now the feed is all Fierce as expected. Currently 2 kills on the board in total for Gene Gaming, who has not been able to make anything work so far. The smokes are going to go in, Overtake going to slide on through. Shadow picks up another frag, somehow manages to make it a 2-piece, and flexing a little bit over the body of Talo right there as they are in complete control of this hard point, and right now Gene Gaming not getting anywhere close. Tala and Cody, and the only players to find a frag so far. Smoke's going in once again. Sneaky's going to find a 2-piece right there. He and Shadow currently combining for 10 kills to the 2 in total. We do have Jesus Can Save You finally pushing in, getting a frag, but just as that happens, Sneaky slides the corner, finds one for himself, and right now, looking like this will likely be a pretty quick win for Fierce.
Yeah, I mean, one would think, just with how Fierce have been playing and unfortunately for Gene, how they have overall been playing. Again, they have strong members of their team, but again, this is Fierce, and this is Fierce's strongest season yet, at least in my opinion. Obviously, it's a kind of like newer hybrid combined roster, but all of the players on that team are just playing at the top. I think I have seen them in all of Mobile Mayhem. So definitely a strong team put together there. We do have Gene picking up some points here on looks like P3, but moving over into P4 is where I would really expect to get a dominating performance out of the side of Fierce, because honestly, Piano is winning a lot more gunfights than he should right now, and I don't know what to chalk it up to other than just he's playing pretty strong right now. But even with Peeker's advantage a couple times, he has been able to outgun the members of Fierce at a couple points here on P3. But it is Fierce ultimately making the rotation over. They do finally make the break that they need, as well as they are looking to try to get Anchor onto P4. I don't know if they know that Piano is sitting upstairs back here, really locking it down that point. And It's actually incredibly smart of him to do so. They lost their bid on P3, so he's been able to assist his team in getting respawns over to P4. So we'll have to see if he's able to really help the team out here. He does pick up a kill onto Forsaken. Does pick up the kill onto Sneaky as well with the Annihilator. So maybe this is where we start to see some points going on over to the side of Gene. Finds Rabalo as well.
Yeah, that
really popping off over here.
That ended up being a really big play for them. That three-piece he was able to find on the inside of P4 allows the rest of his team to make that rotation. They're actually going to have control right here and getting some time on the hill. Piano still fragging out right now. 9 kills for him. He's actually hopping off the hardpoint, giving up a little bit of time right there. Not sure if that was the move. He won't be able to win the gunfight against Forsaken right there, who's already up to 9 kills on the board. And we see right here Shadow already making that rotation over to P5. If they're able to secure it, very good chance they can close things out right here. But some good time going in so far for this Gene Gaming team, who's played things a lot closer than we expected them to. Jesus Can Save You, pulling out his Annihilator. Finds a frag onto one player on the hill, but it's going to take a lot more than that to get a break right here. But just like that, finds another. The Shock RC is going to go out right here. Another frag coming in. And he's looking really good as the Shock RC is going to allow him to make the play. He gets the frag, very nearly gets the break. It's only Forsaken on the inside with an Annihilator that prevents them from pushing in, and that's actually going to force a rotation back to P1 as we actually have Fierce jumping off the hard point completely. Forsaken's pushing out, trying to find a couple additional frags, but they lose even more time right there. Score streak's obviously going to play a factor as well. Shadow calling in a cluster strike. That's going to allow his teammates to start to make that rotation over toward 3-story, but we do have 2 players set up on top of 3-story with Codeine up top, even though he hasn't had a great game so far. Big positioning for Gene Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely, and again, as you mentioned, Gene have actually been performing a little bit better than we would expect them to. However, just looking at the scoreboard, Fierce is all in double digits. Meanwhile, the side of Gene, they're close, but unable to quite find the breaks that they need. And now with Fierce just being at 9 points away, I would expect this to be Fierce closing this one out pretty quickly here. We do actually get a couple quick kills from the side of Gene. Again, don't really know if it's going to be enough. Fierce are just a little bit of trickle away from closing it out. Renounce is going to pick up 2 there before he gets dropped by Jesus Can Save You. Sneaky finds 1 as well. Codeine was able to get the kill on the Rabalo, and with that clean out from Sneaky, that is going to be game 1. Jesus Can Save You does find a kill on to Sneaky at the very last second there, but unfortunately not in time to stop the points from ticking over. So Fierce will take game 1, and again, while Gene did perform a little better than we expected them to, at least in this matchup, looking at just how strong Fierce have been, I would absolutely expect them to come through with a strong search and destroy win, even if they're even if some of this previous matchup was a little close as far as the score goes, and as well as pockets where Gene Gaming were able to find kills that they needed. Overall, it was Fierce just winning the gunfights more consistently, and that is a big factor for Search and Destroy, where you don't get those respawns. Every mode is a reset, which Gene may be able to take advantage of, but again, just based on the KDAs, everybody on the side of Fierce went positive, and everybody on the side of Gene went negative, so you obviously got to lean a little bit to Fierce here.
Yeah, we had 2 positive KDs on Gene.
We had 2 even KDs.
No, Jesus Can Save You was 12-9, and IPiano was 10-6. So.
Oh, maybe I looked at that wrong then.
Yeah, they played that better than I expected, 100%, and definitely a good sign for them, especially given who their competition was right there. So, really strong performance. I mean, I'm going to keep it real. I didn't think they were going to move above 30 points. So the fact that they were able to make it up to 86 is definitely a good sign for them and their future in Mobile Mayhem. But we'll see if they can continue that effort as we get ready to hop into Search and Destroy on Firing Range. And it looks like we are good to go for game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see as we move into Search and Destroy here. As you mentioned, Gene did a lot better than we expected them to in Hardpoint, but Search and Destroy can definitely be a different game. We've obviously got some pretty big sniper advantage on the side of Fierce, that being Sneaky, a player that has, to my knowledge, been in the top 3 for Marksman of the Split, 3 for 3 now, so definitely have to keep that in mind. Overtake. I,
How did he survive that?
What's going on here?
Didn't he just run past? Wait.
He ran past Shadow, and Shadow missed like all of his shots on all 4 of those people. It was pretty rough.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely an unusual start. Sneaky does find the frag onto the bomb planter right there, and just a weird series of events as we are now 3 players apiece. We do have Forsaken taken out. Jesus Can Save You. iPiano picks up the bomb. He and Codeine looking to make the rotation back toward the A site, and it looks like pretty much all of Fierce still currently over on B. Forsaken trying to find a frag onto that top side, but Piano should be able to get the plant down, especially with a trophy on site right here, and actually opts not to go for the plant as Codeine actually finds a frag onto Renounce, and he's going to be the only player remaining right here. Spots 1 player, but Forsaken shuts it down quickly. He and Sneaky getting all the frags off the start for Fierce as they go up 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, kind of as we would have expected there. A little bit of an unfortunate start for Shadow. I mean, again, we would normally expect him to be an actually incredibly strong sniper. I mean, just looking at the lineup that Fierce has, I mean, we've seen Forsaken be a primary sniper in previous Mobile Mayhem seasons. Sneaky, obviously, a player that's known for his sniper. Shadow, a player that's been a main sniper in previous seasons. Shadow, unfortunately, victim of his own choices. Had the axe out, did not win the gunfight. So that will be Gene taking round 2, tying things up.
Yeah, they shut that down pretty quickly, even despite some good snipes from Forsaken, and looking pretty strong once again. We'll see if this is something they're able to carry through all the way. A lot of times, something that we see from some of these super talented... Oh my gosh, the collab from Forsaken. Unfortunate right there for Gene Gaming. He actually misses the shot onto Tala right there. Trying to land one on the inside of Trailer. I think Overtake takes him out right there, but Piano going to be all by himself, as it is going to be a 4-0 round win for Fierce right there. And like I was saying, something that happens a lot of times is just some of these younger but very talented teams do is they get a little bit overconfident, throw away a couple of rounds that they shouldn't. Most of the time they end up bringing it back, but sometimes it comes back to bite them in the butt. We'll see if that ends up.
A lot in the past this season, actually.
Especially, not going to name names, but Nova Imperium does that all the time.
Not going to name names, but yeah, we quite often refer to Nova Imperium as their own worst enemies. So, definitely, and they're a strong team. When it comes down to it, they, in the playoffs, hopefully will take everything a bit more seriously. Same thing with hopefully Fierce, as again, 2 teams that you very much would expect to see in the finals. Renounce picking up a double kill there for the team, clutching up when they needed him. Turned that 3v3 into a 3v1 very quickly. Make that a 3v none as Renounce cleans a house. Top fragging for the side of Fierce. 7 kills on the board for him, 4 rounds in.
Yep. And even though Shadow yet to pick up a frag, not making a whole lot of a difference right now for this Fierce team, who's still looking pretty strongly in control. We see the aggressive B push coming in right here. Shadow's going to try to land a shot. He gets hit by the thermite, and he's going to be forced to retreat, at least for the time being. Smoke's going down. Talo's going to look to get the plant in right here. Mainly just trying to avoid the snipes of Sneaky, who has been lethal up top, and we see him taking out Jesus Can Save You. Very nearly spots another player down below. Overtake staying alive for right now, and Shadow pulls out the X. That's one of the more high percentage kills that you'll find. Gets a 2-piece onto Codeine as well. And now Fierce goes up 4-1 off the start. Looking like they will likely shut this one down pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, it does look to be the case, and again, that is kind of what you would expect with the top team in the league going up against essentially the bottom team. I mean, I think technically Exiled is at the bottom right now, but that's not because they lost that many games. That is again due to some disqualification. I think they were docked 40 points.
Yeah.
So as far as actual win percentage, Gene is the bottom of the leaderboard, and Fierce is the top of the top. So that is important to make note of. This very likely will be Fierce picking up a just clean 20 points for themselves. Forsaken almost slides the corner into a grenade there, but instead slides another corner into the fire of Codeine. And that's two members. I did miss who the other one was. I think it was Talia. But that was two double kills picked up by the side of Gene, and then Piano finds the last one. So that'll give Gene a second point on the board. They absolutely still could make this comeback. It would be a long 4 rounds that they need up against Fierce, but Fierce also only about 2 rounds away from closing out a victory for themselves, so we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Right now, a very, very aggressive B-side push coming out of the side of Fierce here does result in a 1-for-1 trade. Piano picks up Rabalo, but he does not make it too far away from Renounce, who again is just absolutely popping off like a madman. 10 kills on the board for him. Talia trying to make the rotation over. Unable to get the kill onto Forsaken, though.
Yeah, and he's got 11 kills. It's going to be Jesus Can Save You all by himself. And I believe Shadow has 3 kills, and all 3 of them are with the axe, as they do get the plant over onto the B site. Jesus Can Save You really hoping for a pick to come through right here, but not able to make it happen yet. Sliding the corner, trying to get sights onto Renounce. He can see the laser sight, but just doesn't have the angle to make it happen. Sliding over, had perfect position to land that quick scope. Actually takes out Shadow. 2-piece! Oh, Forsaken barely avoids the disaster right there. That would have been an epic 1v3. It does look like we may have lost Day for the time being, so we'll solo cast it for right now, and hopefully he's able to make it back with us pretty soon here. We do have a 5-2 lead for this Fierce team, as iPiano does get taken out off the start. Jesus Can Save You. Hoping to find a pick right here and even things up, but it's actually Codeine taking out Sneaky right here. The B plant is going to go in for Renounce, who has been absolutely frying. 11 kills through 8 rounds, and looking like that plant may very well seal the deal for a Fierce team that is just looking to close out a fantastic season with yet another win. Tala is able to take out Shadow. It will be a 1-man advantage for Gene Gaming. Renounce forced to retreat back to the bomb site, but Forsaken pulls out the UL 736, a gun that we have not seen make an appearance a single time in Mobile Mayhem. Renounce, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. He doesn't have any type of positioning, still wins all the gunfights. He shuts things down right there, and it will be a 6-1 or 6-2 win for Fierce, as they do close out a very strong performance.
And again, this is, kind of what we expected moving on into this matchup. I think, again, Gene has players that can compete here, and a lot of it could be team synergy, trying to work things out. They're obviously a newer team. Again, obviously, they're going to be out of the playoffs just based on their scoring, but moving into next seasons, there's obviously opportunity for them to get their practice in, pick up players that maybe help their lineup out. We'll just have to see how that ends up going for them. But, again, I think Codeine and Jesus were my 2 players to watch as we moved in here. But Piano had a pretty strong performance in Game 1 for the team, Top Fraggin. Talhub had a big performance here in Search and Destroy as well. So definitely a team that has potential, and would like to see them return with maybe some better performances for Season 5 of Mobile Mayhem.
Yep. But with that game ending, we move on to our marquee matchup of the night. Tribe Gaming versus Nova Imperium, 2 teams with a lot of history, a little bit of a rivalry, a lot of talent between the 2 teams, and This one should be an absolute treat to watch. I really hope that it is. I hope it's not a blowout. We'll have to wait and see. We have not seen a single game 3 tonight, but would definitely love to see one right here as we work on getting both of these teams loaded in. Obviously, a lot on the line as both of these teams toward the top of Division 2. Nova Imperium at 110 points. Tribe Gaming at 100 points, and Gravity not far behind at all with 90. They could very well tie or even take the lead over Tribe if they're not able to get the win here. So lots on the line, and even if Tribe gets the win here, Gravity, if Nova Imperium takes 2 straight weeks where they, or 2 straight days where they don't get any points, could tie things up there as well. So lots of different scenarios to cover. Nova Imperium obviously super talented, and like we said earlier, a lot of times they are their own worst enemy. So we'll see if they're able to get out of their own way and really play tonight. I believe we are, as Day was saying earlier, going to be playing with a different rule set. So next season, since there is no Stage 5 of the COD Mobile Championships, we're going to be playing under a different rule set, which I think both of these teams have agreed to for tonight. Let's see. I believe I can take a look at those rules real quick. Very, very similar to what we had run previously when the league was known as Omen. Was it just Omen League? I can't even remember. It's Omen something. So restrictions: 1 unique operator per team. Operator restrictions: no transform shields, hives, or ballistic shields. Score streak restrictions: only UAV, counter UAV, care package, and hunter killer drone are allowed. As far as weapon restrictions, still TDB, but the NA-45 is banned. Perk restrictions: persistence is banned, which I know a lot of players and viewers as well will be very happy to see. Akimbo is banned as far as attachment restrictions. For equipment, trip mines, Molotovs, and thermites are all banned. So those will be the rules for the games tonight. Should definitely make for a very different play style, especially for 2 teams that have become very, very much adjusted to the Stage 5 rules. And now that Stage 5, like we said, no longer a thing, so players going to start to get more adjusted to a more balanced meta. Hopefully, overall, this will allow teams to develop more and become less reliant on score streaks, operators, and everything else, and really be able to focus on the game itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it's an interesting switch up. I definitely like that it brings a lot more focus on the actual not only gun skill, but the rotations that these teams will be making. And it definitely puts a lot more value on the score streaks themselves, right? If you take persistence out of the equation, you're not going to have, for the most part, matchups where there's 5 VTOLs in the air in a row. So, definitely something to make note of on how that's really going to refine some of these players' skills, and as well as the way Call of Duty Mobile competitive is played for the at least foreseeable future. So,
yep. And I think the part of the reason that it's exciting for a lot of the fans is because a lot of times, especially in games of domination, we would see these teams play really solid games. They would make the rotations, hold the map really well, but then it would get to the end of the game and the opposing team called in 4 straight VTOLs, and all of a sudden what was a nice solid 50-point lead disappears because the other team's able to triple cap because all the VTOLs come into play. So this really does force teams to focus on, like you said, those rotations as well as the gun skill, and should be interesting to see what types of metas evolve as the result of this. Keep in mind, we do still have our weapon bans for tonight. So Tribe's ban the HVK, Nova Imperium's ban the ASM-10. Not too surprising to see either one of those. We will likely see lots of DRHs in plays. Typically that is the default after those 2 weapons, especially when it comes to 3-shot assault rifles and everything else. Just working on getting Nova Imperium loaded in, and once we do, we should be good to hop into our final game of the night.
yeah, absolutely. And again, this is potentially going to be the closest matchup of the night, and definitely one of the most important, just based off of how the scoring of Division 2 is. This is two teams that are sitting, I believe, currently at 110 and 100 points. They are both in the top 3, but Tribe Gaming are only 10 points above Gravity, and Nova Imperium are only 20 points above Gravity. We do have one more day of open play as well, so that just goes to show that Gravity are not too far behind. If either one of these teams does struggle, we could potentially have a tie for third place in this division. So that will be something that will develop over the night, and we will have obviously some pretty telling scores at the end of this matchup.
And I see Zim talking
Zim in
trash
chat.
in chat.
I was just looking at that too.
Zim, this is a family-friendly stream. Thank you.
Yeah, where the mods at, yo?
Yeah, well, Zim's a mod, so mods can't do anything to him, but we do have our final Nova Imperium players getting loaded in. And we should be good to go. Probably a couple players adjusting score streaks, operators, and everything else with all the changes to the rule set. So we'll give them a few seconds to change those up, and we should be good to start our final matchup of the night. First game is going to be hardpoint on standoff.
Yeah, definitely should be a good one between these two teams. Again, Tribe, a team that really strongly bounced back after struggling for a long time, making that transition from iPad to phone, preparing themselves for, at the time they were preparing for the Stage 4 championships. Now, obviously, with Stage 5 canceled/delayed, we will have to...
Oh, it's canceled.
Yeah, I mean, we will certainly still probably see them playing strictly on phone, just because, looking into 2021, when COD Champs ideally makes its return, they want to be prepared for that. So definitely would expect to see Tribe continue to grow as a team. So that is something important to make note of for them. They've had a monstrous comeback compared to Season 2. I mean, they're in, obviously competing now for nearly the top of Mobile Mayhem, versus looking back at Season 2. I mean, they were in a very similar situation to Gene Gaming, where they just were in last place with the lowest record and have made a big bounce back. So that shows a lot of just how much progression this team has made. Nova Imperium as well, another incredibly strong team. So I can't think of a better way really to finish out our week, Bobby, than having these two teams that are just 10 points away from each other facing off in nearly the last day of the competition.
Yeah, this is, you got to think, especially after getting 2-0'd by Tragic on Tuesday, Tribe really feels the urgency right here. Not wanting to risk potentially losing that number 3 spot and getting knocked out of the playoffs, especially with Gravity looking as strong as they have over the last few days. So lots on the line for them, and at the very least would love to be able to snag 10 points right here, if not getting the 2-0. Not quite as much on the line for Nova Imperium. It's not possible for them to be eliminated. It is possible that they could end up in a tie for third place. Could very well happen just based on some of the mistakes that we've seen them make in the past, but most of the time when they do get their backs up against a wall in a situation like that, they're typically able to get out of it just based off of pure skill. So probably not as much concern for them, but at the same time, this Tribe team is almost like a big brother to them in a way. A lot of these players know each other pretty well and have played with each other formerly, so we'll see how this one plays out. Just waiting for a couple Nova players to ready up, and we should be good to start the game pretty soon here.
Yeah, this will be our last matchup of the night. Just for anybody joining us late, I will run down our matchups for tonight. We did have our first matchup of Tragic Esports versus Exiled was a 2-0 for Tragic Esports. Our second matchup of the night was Fearless versus Gravity, and that was a Gravity 2-0. NL Esports, formerly Infinex versus Violence, was a 2-0 for NL. And then in our last matchup, we had Gene Gaming up against Fierce. Gene Gaming obviously clapped some cheeks and took the 2-0 victory over Fierce. No, Fierce won that with a 2-0, and now we are moving into our final matchup of the night, but not our final matchup of the tournament. In Tribe Gaming versus Nova Imperium. We do have one more day of open season. That will be on Tuesday before we move into the playoffs, so make sure you guys are there for the Tuesday games as well. Looks like we're just waiting on Wally to get readied up here, and we will get into the first game between these two teams.
All right, there we go. Wally, as much as I appreciate the free watch hours, looking forward to getting ready to hop into the game, and it looks like we're good to go. As expected, lots of DRHs out. We'll probably see that a good bit, especially on the closer range maps like Standoff. The 3-tap ability of that gun, absolutely lethal in those closer ranges. So we do have Nova Imperium on strong side to start. Hacks pushing into the hard point, the primary OBJ player for the team. We do have first frag coming in for Nero as he's able to take out Hacks right there. And you can see Tribe getting time on the hill to start right here. We got Vague on the back side of the statue, but with the statue or the trophy going down for Nero, they'll be safe for the time being, and Bolu filling up the feed right now. Big two-piece right there. This is complete control for Tribe Gaming right now, as Nova Imperium really not able to get anywhere close to this hard point. Vague playing for frags on the outside, but not making any attempt to push in. They finally get some time on the hill right here, and it looks like pretty soon here we'll have Tribe making that rotation over toward next, as Nero's going to go top Grandma's. Picks up a frag right there. Tribe still looking really, really good off the start.
Yeah, Tribe have a big opportunity here. They're developing a small lead, and again, the points are way more important to them at this point. Yes, Nova Imperium could use the 10 just to secure the fact that they wouldn't have to play in a tie, but again, Tribe, they desperately need the points here. Even if it's a game 3 win. We see Wally picking up a couple points there, or a couple kills there. Marshy does pick up the triple kill though, securing Wally. This is a big opportunity for Tribe to pick up some points there. It is a kill going over to Bolu. Does kill himself, but picks up one. Tectonic picks up another kill for the team as well, and it's actually quite a few points now going over to the side of Tribe, despite Swag was actually putting down some good kills there as well. And we do have the hard point is now finally getting anchored and swapped on over to the side of Nova. They will be able to take a slight lead, assuming they hold this for the rest, but Tribe seem perfectly content with doing so. They've made the rotation over to Grandma's. They are upstairs getting set up, and despite losing the lead here on P2, they should definitely get a chance to pick up some points on T3, but man, Hacks with the double, Hacks with the triple, and just like that, this could be potential for a big swing for the favor of Nova, as Hacks, picks up 4 there for the team, cleans out Grandma's. And again, that was Tribe set up, ready to go, and line them up, knock them down.
Yeah, I mean, Nova Imperium absolutely destroyed their strategy, but just like that, Marshy with grab spikes of his own is able to push in and get the break for Tribe. So it looked like it was going to be disaster, but a big feed coming in that's going to allow Tribe to retake control of the hill. Marshy not trying to overextend on anything right there, very content to play the hill, and we are having some players hop up on the outside for Nova Imperium, but not able to get the push in. You can see the experience of Tribe, even with the strong push from Nova Imperium. They didn't let it shake them. They played their strategy, and they're able to close out their time on this hill. Should be able to leave the hard point with about a 20-point lead, which is a great spot for them to be in. You can see Tectonic now filling up the feed himself. Hadn't had a very strong start. Only 3 kills up until a second ago, but the 2-piece right there is going to be crucial, and we do now have Tribe setting up to take control of next, but Vague is going to pull out that Annihilator. That is going to be big as he gets a nice initial frag. It's making a 2-piece as he drops Bolu. And Nova Imperium continues to take upward as they have really strong control of P4.
Yeah, absolutely. And as things start to loop back around, it definitely can be a little bit different as we do loop the hard points. Obviously, moving back to first, we'll have operators available. We'll have score streaks available. We'll have players, being at different points in the map to start, as opposed to being same distance from first hard point. So definitely things to keep an eye out for. Right now, we do have a slight lead developed for Nova Imperium, as they will likely cross into the 130 territory off of this hard point, because they do look to be uncontested. Actually, it looks like maybe missing out on a couple trickle points there, as we have players starting to make rotations over. But they are still about 27 points up. Both of these teams are more than capable of winning on a single hard point if they're able to lock it down for long enough, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Swag picks up one, but does almost get dropped. Hax is there to help him out. But it is ultimately Tribe Gaming being the ones to get on that hard point first, and Tribe are picking up a couple kills here and there as well. Tectonic does pull the Annihilator out. This will give them quite a bit of stopping power. Finds a second kill as well. Tectonic coming through big for the team there when they need him. Finds another onto Swag.
Oh, but a big miss right there. That's going to allow High to take him out. They're not able to get control of the hill yet. Little B, fortunately, able to shut things down right there. But Vague finding a big double. That will allow Nova Imperium to get some time on the hill, but they're taken out. It's currently unoccupied. 3 points separate these two teams. And this is going to be an absolutely intense ending. Little B gets the frag. He's not able to take out Vague. It is going to be Tribe getting a little bit of extra time on the hill. Marshy making the rotation over toward P2. It looks like Tribe set up really well right here. Swag on the outside. He's got a Tempest. He's able to take out Marshy on the inside, but I believe still one player remaining over here for Tribe, and Tectonic able to shut down Swag off his operator. That is going to be crucial. Only 7 more points needed right here. Swag's trying to make the push in. He's not able to make it happen. Tribe Gaming's on the hill. No contest comes in for Nova Imperium, and Tribe Gaming takes game number 1 in an absolute thriller, 150 to 131.
That was such a close game, and Tectonic really stepped up for Tribe there. I know, as you mentioned a little bit early on in that match, Tectonic did struggle to come online. Really turned things around, especially with the Annihilator out, as we roped around to back to P1. Was able to pick up a bunch of kills there, and then I believe he picked up 4 to fend off almost the entire team of Nova Imperium, rotating over to the second loop onto P2, and that really helped them secure their win there. So Tribe, I mean, again, this is the team, they did drop a 0-2 versus Tragic in our Tuesday matchup, and the points are all so important for them here now. If they were able to pick up a 2-0 over Nova Imperium, they would be really in a prime position moving into our final matchup, or our final day of matchups for the open season. So it's a big opening win for Tribe there. Very, very close game between these two teams. Historically speaking, we would normally have given Nova a little bit of an edge going into Search and Destroy, but honestly, I think this is still anybody's game, and again, one of the matches that could potentially go to a game 3.
Yep, you got to give a ton of credit to Marshy right there. Played the objective so well, and actually him taking or retaking P3, I believe it was, when it looked like it was going to be an easy break and control for Nova Imperium, was a huge factor in them being able to make that comeback happen. And if they're able to get the win here, a ton of credit has to go to him, as he also had a great KD in that game as well. It looks like we got all of our players loaded in, ready to go for game number 2, which is going to be Search and Destroy on Crossfire. So this is not one that we see a whole lot. Definitely excited to see how these two teams are going to play this. It looks like we've got 2 snipers in play over on Nova Imperium. Oh wait, do we have 4 snipers? We have 4 snipers in play. I've got to watch this. I believe only 1 sniper on Tribe in Tectonic, so basically a 1v4 sniper battle for him as he's playing that top angle. Very nearly has an angle onto Swag. He's going to be allowed to climb up right there. Hex, the only non-sniper on the team, is going to be able to get the plant over onto the B side, and the pressure is now on for Tribe Gaming as The smokes, the utility goes in, nades coming out. 2 picks come in early for Vague and Swag. Hack spraying through the doorway, but Bolu, with the peeker's advantage, is going to be able to win the gunfight. He's making the rotation over toward the outside, finds High as well. They will be down a man right here, and not a whole lot of time to work with. He's going to need to find picks and make them happen quickly. Vague finds a pick as they do get traded. Tectonic now in a 1v1, but I don't think he has enough time to make it happen. Vague's going to shut it down right there. 3 kills for him off the start, and it will be a 1-0 lead for Nova Imperium.
Yeah, Nova definitely need this to keep Tribe down. If they're able to push us to a game 3, they have an opportunity to deny Tribe points, as well as picking up points of their own would secure themselves the spot in the finals 100%. No odds to tie or anything. So the points really matter a lot between these two teams. Tribe would specifically be more comfortable if they were able to pick up a 2-0 victory, and then Nova would be the only ones that could potentially tie for 3rd place, but there is still a lot of matchup ahead of us, as well as a whole extra day of competition. Tectonic is able to pick up a kill onto Hacks there, as well as I do believe I missed who was able to get first blood for Tribe, but they do have a 2-player advantage right now in the 2nd round here on Search and Destroy, so this is a big opportunity for them to tie things up.
And I do see people in chat talking about Little B using the ballistic shield last game. I had said that it was banned, but it does have a question mark next to it, so it wasn't a... I mean, I guess at this point it's just a question mark. So,
well, and also these are rules for next season.
Yes, exactly.
That's ultimately the decision here.
These aren't enforceable rules. So even it is a gentleman's agreement at this point, just because the rules do not change mid-season. So something to keep in mind. But we do have, as we said, a 2-man advantage for Tribe Gaming, and Swag, without a whole lot of utility, is going to have a really tough time finding any type of good plant spot. We do see him getting positioned right here. Big 2-piece for Wally right there. And even though they do lose High right there, the trade coming in as Swag takes out Tectonic. It's now a 2v2. And pushing up to the top side is Little B. He's able to get the frag onto Wally. It is now a 2v1, and Swag's able to land shots onto Nero, but Little B spots him right there. Should have an angle to work with. Swag's ready for him. Perfectly played, but he can't land the shots right here, and now Swag looking to play time. This is going to be an absolutely insane finish. Swag, he survives. Little B can't land the shots. He could potentially have an angle to go for the defuse right here. He's going to try to get it. We'll see if he has the time. He's not going to be able to get it to go through. Swag shuts it down with the pistol, and it's going to be 2-0 Nova Imperium off the start.
Yeah, Nova Imperium certainly looking to push us to a game 3. Again, the points are incredibly important to both of these teams. Tribe really need the 2-0 victory to make it count, but Nova could win a 2-1 and really be secure with themselves and their points. Swag, it does pick up a kill on Lil B. High finds Nero as well, and that is going to be incredibly huge for the side of Nova. They might be able to pick up a 3-0 lead here over the side of Tribe, and so far, the just sheer number of snipers working out pretty well for the side of Nova, specifically that being in Swag, who is, always been a strong sniper, but, I mean...
Oh, Tectonic baited the mess out of his teammate. Wally able to trade right there. Marshy all by himself. He finds the frag. He needs to find Vague here. Vague trying to play time, waiting for Marshy to go for the defuse. He's going to slide onto the site. He misses the first shot. Vague chokes right there. Marshy gets the defuse, and Tribe Gaming takes the round as Vague absolutely whiffs on the diffuser.
That was a nearly resume level fail going through there. But at least it was fun. At least it was fun.
And Vague actually hit markers 2 people right there. Really unfortunate timing. Hai's going to actually take out Bolu for first blood, and Wally shuts down Nero as he looks to make the push up. Marshy just making big play after big play for Tribe right now. They are down a round, but still alive and looking to make something else happen right here. He's waiting for Hax to maybe make the rotation around the corner, not able to get shots onto him. Wally's going to shut down Little B. We do have Marshy wall banging onto Hax right there. What a play. We got to keep in mind there's still 3 players alive. Wally right there. He gets taken out by Marshy as well. This is what we call the flow state. Vague finally able to shut him down. But with Tectonic alive, anything is possible. We'll see what he can do with a sniper in hand. He spots Vague. He had the angle to work with, but wasn't able to make it happen. Could potentially have a foot hit marker, but doesn't spot him planting the bomb. The pressure is on now, and with Swag alive on the backside, trying to land shots. Oh, hit markers right there. Unfortunate for Tectonic. Nova Imperium will take another round, and they will go up 3-1.
Yeah, and again, the Nova Imperium roster has historically been a team of incredibly strong search and destroy players, so it's absolutely no shock here that they are taking a little bit of an edge, but this is their last round on offense, so they have some time. Wally will find the kill on Tectonic. That does give a little bit of an advantage for the side of Nova, but just like that, it is answered back as we have, I think 9 snipers in play right now.
I'm pretty sure you're right. I think we do have 9 snipers in play. So,
chat just saw it. Chat.
And just once again, Marshy, the only player remaining. He's not able to shut down Hex right there. Tribe not able to find any type of a rhythm on the defensive side, but this is a map that plays very, very differently from offense to defense, and chat's just losing their minds. Oh, I'm dead. We got Tribe crossing over toward the bomb site right here, and you can see them now playing to their own strategy, not allowing Nova Imperium to dictate. Hex is going to drop off the start and likely going to see smokes come into play over on the B site to allow Nero to be able to get the plant right here. We do have a player pushing into his left side. Vague's going to be able to shut things down. We got Nero trying to land shots. He's able to take out Vague right there. Unfortunately for them, it is going to be a 2v3. The plant was not able to go in, and they're going to need to find a pick right here to make this more manageable. Hai, I think you just I think Hai just collided for the final kill right there, and really unfortunate situation for Tribe Gaming, who's looking like they might give up this search and destroy and push it to a game 3.
Yeah, and if Tribe were to win in the game 3, I believe that puts them tied with Nova Imperium. Marshy with a double environmental. That's big.
Oh, man. He's been
Tribe
so good.
needed that desperately.
Yep.
We no longer have 10 snipers in play either. So that's that.
Yeah, Marshy just making play after play. The bomb plant goes in over on the A site, which is something we very rarely see. Tectonic finds the pick onto Hex. It's now a very manageable 5v2 with the bomb plant going in. Wally's going to have to make it all happen by himself right now. He's actually concussed. He's trying to land the shot onto Bolu. Can't make the first one happen. Bolu shuts it down. Tribe stays alive for a little bit longer as they move to 2-5.
Yeah, thanks to a big opening play by Marshy. In fact, a big game for Marshy. 8 kills on the board for him. I believe he's tied with Wally right now. Swag absolutely cracked this game. 9 kills on the board for him. And still anybody's game. It would be a long comeback for Tribe to win the next 4. This is a good start around for them as they pick up 3. I think if Tribe make the comeback 6-5 here and you're Vague, I think you cry yourself to sleep tonight. But
oh, now Hex left all by himself is no surprise. Marshy makes another play. Hex is going to be able to take out Little B, and now pushing back into Deli right here. We got shots coming in from the side, but Tectonic with the quick scope to shut it down. Back-to-back rounds going over to Tribe, and they're starting to focus in right now. It seems like they're gaining a little bit more control and really dictating the pace. Not saying it's 100% certain they're going to make the comeback happen, but right now looking really, really good on the offensive side. But just as I say that, High gets the first blood on De Niro, and that makes things, wow.
Ooh.
Tribe getting shut down left and right. Marshy's able to land a frag again. 10 kills for him. 2 trades come in. It's a 3v2, but with Marshy alive, anything is possible. And oh, Swag spots him right there, but hit markers. Marshy tries to get out alive. The movement is clean. Swag not able to get the kill shot. Marshy trying to find an angle right here, and a very bold move for him. Bolu gets a frag on the Hex just like that. What was a 4v2 is now a 2v2, and Marshy takes some shots, but he's going to be able to, potentially baiting him into the play. We see a very smart play for Swag as he backs off right there, doesn't try to push the issue, and we will now have Nova Imperium backing off, waiting for Tribe to make the move. They've still got 57 seconds to work with. We see them now pushing in, potentially going for the A-side push, which they've had some success with, but Wally shuts down Bolu right there. And Tribe, Marshy trying to find the pick. He gets the hop up right here. This is 100% the play. He's going to spot him right there. Not able to land the shots, though. It will be Nova Imperium winning game number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, we are going to our very first game 3 of the night, and it is going to be a juicy one.
Yeah, and I think ultimately Tribe's biggest mistake there was not playing Zim. Just such a strong search and destroy player.
Factual
there
statement.
Certainly no trolling between either of these teams when there was 10 snipers in play, you know, but...
Sub Zim in for Little B.
Little B is man. I don't care what anything.
All right. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Marshy. I don't care who wins this matchup. Marshy is the winner today. He has been absolutely the man in tonight's matchup, and I don't care who wins MVP of the season. Marshy is MVP in my heart. But with that, we're good to go for game number 3. It's going to be domination on firing range. I think this is a matchup that we've seen between these two teams many times on this map. So it's been one that a lot of times Tribe has been up going into the second half. And then the Persistence VTOLs came into play and Nova Imperium was able to close it out. But there won't be any Persistence VTOLs this time. We'll see how that factors in as both of these teams abiding by our new rules. Just waiting for our players to ready up. And we should be good to go to hop into our final matchup.
Yep, and our only game 3 of the night, being the last one of the night, being the most important score-wise of the night, definitely is a pretty feels-good way to end the night. So I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I wanted to see, and all the viewers are getting what they wanted to see. This is the reason that a lot of them watch the stream in general. YouTube stream is at 1,300, and prior to Tribe starting, the peak of the stream was like 700. So I would say everybody pretty excited to see what our final game holds. As we got all of our players readied up and good to go for the final game of the night, domination on firing range.
Yikes, and there's the vague clip. It exists. It's alive.
Vague's trying to say that he's on phone, but I'm not buying it.
I'm not going to buy that one either.
Not buying it even a little bit.
Yeah, pretty rough. That was pretty rough.
Yeah, just like that, we're good to go. Players out and gunning. 3 Tribe players pushing backside right there. It's going to be a couple trades coming in as Wally's able to find 2. Vague getting shut down pretty quickly, and it will be Tribe taking control of trailer as Nero takes a couple shots. They've got pretty good time on the hill, or not time on the hill, but time on the B site. Hex is able to stay alive, but Nero finds frag number 3, make it frag number 4, and the map seems to be all in control of Tribe Gaming as they get a really early B cap, and looking like we'll likely see a flip right here as we have both teams on the opponent's home flag, and It looks like the A flag does get flipped. Nero's actually not able to take out Wally yet. The C flag is not in control for Tribe, and looking like that starting plan may have backfired a little bit. They are in the process of retaking that A flag, but I believe got knocked off. It will be Tectonic closing out the cap, and once again, they're back in control of the double.
High is looking for a B cap there. He does pick up the kill on Nero, but Bolo is going to find the kill in return. That is going to secure the, or stop the B secure for the side of Nova, at least for the time being. Looks like they have been able to make that comeback to tie the score back up very, very quickly here. 25-24 on the board, and still anybody's game, especially moving into the second half. As we have mentioned to you guys, both these teams kind of giving a little bit of foreshadowing into the next season, as we will not have the same rules. There will be no persistence for Season 5 of Mobile Mayhem, so just kind of keep that in mind. There's also a whole slew of other restrictions that will, of course, we can go over with you at a later time. They will likely also get tweeted out as well, so make sure you follow the Mobile Mayhem account on Twitter. Right now, we do have a slight, very, very slight lead for the side of Nova Imperium. They're sitting up about 8 points right now. Still anybody's game. But,
I mean,
both these...
I was just going to say, Vague is frying right now. He actually has an advanced UAV. And keep in mind, we have no persistence in play. So that is 100% all score streak. And that's going to be really big for Nova Imperium, especially at the start of the second half. They're already taking upwards. They've been able to keep control of the B cap. Tectonic is going to pull out his Annihilator right here, and they're going to see if they can manage something over on B. Unfortunately for Tectonic, Swag was proning behind the table right there. He's going to try to shut down the push over to C, and Little B is actually going to get knocked off by Hex, and things going downhill pretty quickly for Tribe in the second half. It looked like they were going to be really solidly in control following that first half, but it has been a really, really good
gravity
finish.
spikes by Marshy.
Yeah, big gravity spikes, but the triple cap actually goes in for a few seconds for Nova Imperium, and they're going to be leading by 27 at the half.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close we were to the 75. That actually might have been a little bit of a waste by Marshy there. Yeah, it looked good when I switched over to him, though. It looked really clean, but Vague absolutely cracked this game, probably trying to make sure that he has a job for Season 5, making a bit of a comeback from the search and destroy drop he had there. So we'll have to see. Playing crazy right now, and you know, again, as you mentioned, all those score streaks he had were all non-persistent score streaks. So just goes to show how cracked he was playing in that first round. Tectonic finally crossing into double digits for the side of Tribe. Nero not far behind, as well as Bolu and Marshy with 9, 8, and 8 respectively. Hax definitely picked up for the team of Nova as well. Nova, they have about a 25-point lead right now. Still anybody's game. Tribe did look like they were going for the triple cap there, but they were unable to get the progress that they needed. And they will lose out on the A. B does not get capped either, and War Machine out for Wally picks up a couple kills. This is a big opportunity for Nova to start making the push.
And Marshy makes the big grab spike play again right there. So you can see very, very crucial for them. They're able to get a pretty good amount onto... they actually take control of C right here. So they're in control of the double cap for the time being, but a big push coming in. Nero's going to almost shut it down right there. He got the first frag, wasn't able to get the second one. We do have Nova Imperium on the C flag. We'll see whether or not they're able to get full control right here. And actually, it's a triple cap going into play for Nova Imperium, as things very quickly go downhill for Tribe Gaming. They're not winning their gunfights. Nero's able to get one right there, but it just seems like everything is going over to Nova Imperium. Wally doesn't even have score streaks he can use outside of the Pred missile, and still top fragging for the team with 21 on the board with that GKS. Bolu's going to take him out right there, and it's going to take a really strong end of this game for Tribe Gaming to make it happen.
Yeah, it might unfortunately be a little bit too late for them again, especially with the use of persistence essentially being removed for this game. I mean, again, the rules being displayed here are kind of foreshadowing into Mobile Mayhem Season 5, so keep that in mind. But these players have agreed to not use persistence for the matchup, as those will be the rules moving forward, so kind of keep that in mind. Now, 15 points away, it looks like Nova Imperium will likely close this out, and kind of the disaster that this spells for Tribe is moving into Tuesday's matchups, they are only 10 points ahead of Gravity. So Tribe really have to pull things together and pick up some points, because they're still in a position where they could potentially drop out of the top 3, which would be absolutely heartbreaking for them, especially after watching them have such a big comeback season, a bounce back from their Season 2 and Season 3. But there it is. That's Nova Imperium picking up the 2-1 victory over Tribe, 150 to, I believe it was 87. I did miss it as it flicked away there, but excellent play coming out of Nova Imperium there. Vague and Wally popped off super hard in the kill department for the side of Nova, and they were able to take that momentum and close out a win.
Mods, if possible, if you could put the matchups for Tribe and I believe Exiled in the group chat, that would be awesome, because I would love to see what those are. But obviously, Nova Imperium getting the win. Just that at the end of the day, they won more gunfights. Vague going 25-15, Wally going 24-12, double positive right there. And when your lowest player is the player that also has 8 flag caps, not a bad spot for Nova Imperium to be. As they do get the win, they'll gain 10 points from that. So keep in mind, not going to set them apart a ton, but definitely a really big win for them. And that will comfortably seat them in the second place spot in Division 2. Could potentially take the first place spot depending on how Tuesday's games play out. But we will have to wait and see on that one, as there will be a lot on the line on Tuesday. Definitely excited to see that one, and we'll be here 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bobby and Day casting your favorite COD Mobile League, and it's going to be an absolute blast. As always, appreciate Day casting with me. This was one of my favorite matchups that we've seen in Mobile Mayhem in a while, and hopefully in the playoffs and the finals, we've got more in store just like this. But that is going to be it for tonight. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to show some love to whoever we end up rating. Make sure to spam hashtag use code Bob in their chat. And that is going to be it for the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time.